That's pretty cool.
I know, right?
Pennyworth.
Here comes the intro. 3, 2. You have to unmute yourself, Anthony.
What's going on, everybody? Cali Death Podcast back once again, episode 105. Did they hear you telling me to?
Yeah, for whatever reason, it says I'm a guest now, and it wouldn't let me unmute you. I
That's
lost
all
my
good.
admin.
I was ready. I had the trigger finger ready. But what's going on, guys? We're here again, another Thursday for you guys, and I'm always here with my resident homies, Joel and Casey. Our guest will be with us shortly. He's actually in a live stream right now on his Twitch page. His name is Mike Leon. Mike Leon Shreds is his Twitch page, and he's killing it over there, along with an extensive roster of bands: Cavalera Conspiracy, Soulfly. Joel brought it to my attention that he was on an Igor record or two. What?
I tried to look that up because that was just a random like biography thing. I just clicked on when I was like driving, and I didn't see it on the Encyclopedia Metal, but I saw it. He was on The Absence, which Josh Seitman. Shout out to Josh. He was like all about The Absence for a while. That was like his favorite like kind of melodic band, and I guess he did all the Absence records, which is a nice
Killer, dude.
surprise. Yeah.
So we'll be able to talk to him about that soon. Nice. We're just waiting for him to finish up his live stream. But good to see you guys, the resident homies. Good to see you all out there and as viewers and talk to you as listeners. I never do this, but we should start doing this again, dude. Like and subscribe wherever you listen or watch. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, give us a like and a review. That's rad. If YouTube, hit us up in the comments section. Subscribe if you haven't. And if you're watching this post live, you can watch us live every Thursday night, Pacific time, 7.
Pacifica.
I almost did say Pacifica. You can watch us live over at our twitch.tv/Cali Death Podcast. Come over and subscribe there too. The subscriptions everywhere, the reviews, the likes, all that shit, that helps us. Doesn't cost you guys any money, just it's representing for us and help it and yeah, just helps us as a show in general to be able to be seen by more people that should watch the show.
Yeah, the Vortex. We're getting rated.
See something happening.
Oh, okay, cool, perfect.
What up?
Perfect timing.
How's it going, Leonard?
Maybe we should have raid music.
I know. Ian, what's up? How's it going?
I'm not even
now the raid music.
I didn't even turn my chat on right now.
Yeah, some raid music for you. Smooth.
Raided.
Yeah, now
Helping you guys come in smooth right now.
The previous live bagging.
Welcome to the Cali Death Podcast, everybody. We're here. A lot of new viewers. We're very excited.
Yeah, we're getting there, man.
No, this is
we got to pee and kiss. Of course, man. Take your time. We got raid music on.
Yeah,
we're jamming.
Take your time, brother. We got Mike Leon already in the chat letting us know that he's coming soon. That's rad. So he already rated us, and then he's got to go take his little break real quick.
Yeah, he's been like streaming for like 47 hours, so I think he's got to
crazy, dude.
Take a piss or something. I know he goes long, man. The other day I was watching his stream, and it was at the bottom. It said like 6 hours and 47 minutes, and it was still going. And actually, shout out to Mike again too, because he, Nick Shangelis from Cephalic, he just started his Twitch channel. So like he rated Nick, and I was watching Nick and got to talk to Nick again since PsychoFest, and he's gonna start doing it. He's fucking hilarious, and he's an absolute shredder on the bass, like fucking
That's what's up,
murdering. Dude. Yeah, so he's gonna start. He wants to come on too, so we're gonna do a.
He's the OG on bass.
No, he came in at Anomalies or after Anomalies, and then he was in Havoc actually, which I think Mike Leon was in too. But then or Leon, I call him Leon, but
Leon too.
And then he was in Joffrey Cowboy for a while. That one Crazy Sun Eater album. That was
damn,
Nick.
dude. I should have done more research. Yeah, I because there's these few projects that people always are like current in or wanting to brag about being a part or whatever, but this guy still has like a crazy resume that all of it is something that I'm interested in, so I'm really excited to talk to him about it tonight.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be sick. It's gonna be sick.
I'm gonna realize like he's part of so many things that I love, and but that's the fun thing about this show too, is that I really don't need to do too much research because we usually go in depth enough to where the band or the artist is going to tell me anyways.
Well, as long as one of us has kind of.
Yeah.
Good.
Let's go through the before he gets on the. Do you want to do the Battle Forge and then the?
Oh yeah, dude. All the plugs. Yeah, we'll do Battle Forge Coffee up top as always. BattleForgeCoffee.com. We all drink coffee, and I love coffee. I can drink it any time of day. Why not buy that shit from Deeds of Flesh, dude? I mean, really. They make really good coffee. I'm not joking. I'm not just saying it because we plug them. They don't even pay us to say this. This is literally just homie status, guys.
Yeah.
This is literally just the bros helping the bros.
We did get one bag of coffee.
Yeah, so yeah. They gave us some
we're sellouts.
Well, they kind of paid us, but they paid us in beans, not dollars or coins.
But for real, that's what it is, dude. We literally just love those guys so much. They've been friends of ours for so many years. We always want to help the homies out. And on top of that, we've tried it, and it's really good coffee. So fuck it, dude. Support the underground.
And then over in we said in San Diego, right? We got Paul Masvidal's guitar clinic. Casey will be at stuff hanging out. And
yeah, I'm gonna be there. Ricky in the chat, I think he might be there. I told Christopher Beatty to go. Alex, I don't know if he's gonna make it, but I know Alex Basie, our guitarist, he's gonna be there with his homies, I think. And
it's also Paul Masvidal is going to be there shredding.
Yeah, he's going to actually be there too. Yeah, and he did his clinic today at MI, and he told me it went well because we were fixing his computer. So like, I wanted to make sure it worked, and he was like, "Yeah, it worked." So I was like, "Oh,
yeah."
So
I know.
So tomorrow,
so sick.
He's got a new setup.
I used to call Chris Beetle all the fucking time. We've already talked about it. We've learned this now. We've been saying it wrong. Beetle. Beatty. Yeah. But you just made me realize that
you have to introduce yourself. Yeah.
Beetlejuice and Betelgeist. It's kind of the Betelgeist is what they say in the movie at one point, and so he's like still a beetle because it's Betel. It's just a different language.
I don't even know.
Yeah. All right. So
come on, guys. You didn't put that connection together. I was just saying his name's Beatty, right?
I'm trying to put our there we go. This okay. No. Yep. Anyways, so Anthony over. We got Anthony up in the corner up there with the jersey, the Beatty Beetle guy, and then Casey Howard. He's vocals for Severed Savior and Odious Mortem. So rock and roll music. That's kind of hard rock.
Yep. It's kind of hard rock, dude.
That's a little riffy. And then Casey Howard, fucking drummer, everything extraordinaire, Decrepit Birth, Odious Mortem, fucking one of the best drummers on earth. He hates compliments, so I say that. And then I'm just one of their friends, and I played in Odious and Decrepit.
Come on, this is Joel Horner, guys. He's a fucking shredder too.
It's like a stage. It's like a stage going like, oh, okay. Then the other guy comes up, oh, give it up for this guy. You know what I mean? Like,
what's funny is that I did do that during bloodletting, and David at one point was like, dude, just stop introducing us one by one.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, please.
We have like 25-minute sets. You're like introducing us for like 7 minutes.
Yeah. That was cool though, that video from Montreal that someone posted. I was like, what? That's crazy. I never seen that one. It was like from a top angle for Decrepit Birth.
Oh yeah, the 2009 one. Yeah,
it was like, what's that club called?
That was fuck Steve. I forget his goddamn name. Steven.
Called Fuck Steve.
No, Foofs Electronics.
Foofs Electronics.
Yeah, Foofs.
Yeah, that was cool.
Foof Fondness or whatever. But yeah, there was like just an angle of me, and like I had like I would never wear pants like on stage. I'm wearing pants, and I'm kind of like sagging, and I'm just like way fatter, and like my ass is just all weird, like tucked in, and like it just looks like my legs are all skinny, and I'm all fat on top. Jeez, brother.
Montreal was a weird crowd because they don't move much. I mean,
no, they were moving. They were moving hard.
I don't remember them moving.
Oh no, Montreal goes off.
Montreal gets banana town. Yeah, that's.
You're just thinking of that. No, but I remember the show you're talking about, Bloodletting, and that was a unique case. They were like staring at that one.
And then when Deep the Flesh went on, Decrepit went on,
they would go crazy. After you finish the song, they'd clap and cheer and all that shit, but they just stood at you like.
That's a European thing too. I've noticed, like in a lot of Europe countries, a lot of people would be like just arms crossed, like fucking play, dude, like looking like not interested, not even moving their heads. And then like when you're done, they're like, everyone's like, super loud, and you're like, oh shit, they liked it. I thought you hated us.
Totally.
Okay. This is
there's a bunch of metal. There's always metal dudes that are just like this, watching, like they don't like.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
I like to groove. I like to move. I like to let the music make my body do weird shit.
I don't know how you could drink alcohol and sit there and then be still to like a groove.
Well, they're probably not drinking, or they're having like
fucking European though. It feels like they drink fucking hard. I don't know. They like drink on lunch breaks.
Proven point.
Wait, we do that in America too. What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
I mean,
Oh man,
just joking. I don't work on cars after getting drunk, guys. I'm just fucking around.
I'm drinking Jarritos Mineragua. Oh, that's what he says. Cool. So it's Spanish for mineral water. I was sick, so I'm rejuvenating myself. But I'm like getting into it. I'm going to be like, oh, I need like a lot of water, so I'm going to be like going for it.
I gotta give Mike the link for whatever reason. Isn't the link?
Hydrate.
Sweet.
We'll see amongst yourselves. No,
he's trying to come in right now.
I had fun listening to a bunch of Soulfly and Sepultura this week for sure.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
What's your favorite?
That's my favorite. Well, it's still the same. Arise, Sepultura is always my favorite. Mm-hmm. And the first self-titled Soulfly just is a nostalgic thing for me. It was one of those things where I actually bought Soulfly not really knowing the connection to Sepultura. I bought it literally just because it was on Roadrunner. It was one of those things where back in the day, you would just trust a record label or trust CD album covers, but trusting the record label is one of the fallback things too, if you're going to buy something that you haven't listened to yet. And Soulfly was one of those things where I bought it mostly because it was on Roadrunner. And then later found out that it was Max from Sepultura, and I had already been familiar with Sepultura. But listening to, I was going to bring it up anyways, and I'll bring it up with him when he's on. But I think that Chaos AD, the album that most people know that Sepultura is making the change into more, chiller, popular styles of metal, that actually, to me, is like the roots. And it's funny I'm saying roots with Sepultura because they got albums called Roots and Bloody Roots, but it's the roots of new metal, dude. It really is. To me, I somebody's got to show me something earlier than Chaos AD that really had those blueprints for all the new metal bands that got popular in the late 90s, because there's totally new metal seeds that are on that album, plus like Hatebreed seeds. I feel there's a lot of stuff that Hatebreed were influenced on that album too. But the earlier, it's Arise, Sepultura is still my favorite, always will be my favorite Sepultura.
Me too,
album,
man.
But
Arise is like the most, like, I mean, Beneath the Remains just has that like that old school. I mean, it's just kind of like when it was recorded gives it like flavor too. Like it was like if that was re-recorded, like that and Arise would probably be like right, there, because like, and then hearing that live, they have the Blood Rooted album. Like hearing that shit live just makes me want to like murder people.
I don't even think that Beneath the Remains needs to be re-recorded. It's actually a really good sounding album for that time that it came out, but it really is more, heavy metal influenced versus thrash and death metal. Then they get into the Arise, and you can really see that they're doing stuff that, there's even I hear Gore Guts, I hear Death, I hear all these bands in Sepultura. I don't know who was doing it first or if they're doing it adjacent at the same time, but there's something that was going on in the early 90s, dude, that I'll never stop loving. I'm Hunter and shit, I'm forgetting his name. We had him on the fucking show, the Radical Research guys. Who's the other guy?
Oh, Jeff Wagner.
Yeah,
right?
Dude. Sorry,
And
Jeff. I love you, bro. I listen to your show all the time, and I just fucking spaced on your name. But Hunter and Jeff, there's something that was happening in '93 for a bunch of different genres of music. I believe it, dude. '93 was like this turning point for so many different styles of music. You listen to hip hop at that time too. It's like there was like this weird something in the water type deal that was going on in '93 that made everybody branch out and expand into other realms that they hadn't previously touched before. So, and I think KSCD is in '93.
So we're trying to get Mike on, having a little technical difficulties.
No worries.
Oh yeah, we'll make it happen.
It's all good. No worries.
But yeah, that's what I've been doing this whole week. And then Soulfly, it's totally Max. You know, what's funny about it is that's a full new metal record. I put that in the new metal category for sure. But you don't. It's not like him jumping on the bandwagon. If you think about it, the fact that KSAD started all that shit anyways. So he's just finally contributing to a genre that branched off of what I believe were ideas that he came up with, you know?
Oh, for sure.
Hell yeah, dude.
I'd really like to see somebody shut me up and show me some earlier examples of the beginnings of new metal other than Chaos AD before that album.
Yeah, anyone in the chat wants to chime in. Unfortunately, I don't know.
I know. Casey's not fucking new metal.
I'm actually my main guy I talk about new metal with is too busy trying to get Mike on.
I'm doing tech support. I can't do. I can kind of do two things at once, but
what's wrong? What's help?
Well, the link is saying the link's opening to like taking him to like an open page, but it's when I click the link, it takes me right in the stream. So I'm just trying to figure it out. So, anyways, so what's your guys' favorite color?
Green, gray.
Green for all. Yeah,
because weed's green. It's so cheesy, but it really is true.
I'm colorblind to green a little bit. So
are you really?
I fuck with him on that all the time. I'd be like, check out this green sweatshirt, and it's brown. He's like,
so what do you see when what do you see when you look at green?
Well, it's like complicated. So if you get like eye testing things, like you'll take like, because I had them as kids and stuff, and that's how I knew. That I found out. But it was like you do these like color eye tests, and you can see, there's like a bunch of dots and shit, and you can see the different things, and you should see like outlines of numbers or whatever in between all the dots. And as if there's ones you can't see, then that like determines what pigments like you don't have. So I can't see like green, right, or something. So basically, what it means is I see green, but it just looks like dark yellow to me. And then
Weird.
if there's, I can't tell the difference between a lot of colors. Like blue and purple is like, there's like random things, or like if I'm like picking up dog shit like in the yard and I'm wearing sunglasses, I have to like put them up because I'm like can't see the turds in the grass very well. I mean, I can see the shape, but not like the color. It's weird, right?
That's crazy. I used to like always fuck with like on truck stops with Casey. I'd be like, check out this like. I'll pull out a green thing and be like, check out this brown, or like a brown one. Like, check out this green shirt. He's like, oh, it's cool. I was like, you really can't see it. Like, how do you even understand color if you can't? You've never seen a color though.
What always trips me out about colors though is I like, for example, I'm wearing something red. You guys know that this color is red, but how my eyes see this color could be different than how you see the color, but we've associated this color with the word red. So red is what we describe this color as, but I could be seeing blue right now. You could be seeing green, but it's still associated as the word red.
Here we go. Looks like we got
going
on here.
Okay,
he's here.
Oh, sweet. There he is.
Hello.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. There he is.
Figured it out. Fuck yeah.
The eagle has landed, dude.
We did it, dude.
I should have pre-warned you guys that, like, despite the stream and what may seem as a understanding of technology, I absolutely am a Neanderthal. As soon as it's something new, I'm like, what is this?
Dude.
I know, because you shred. Do you have like a pad or something, or like some sort of a thing that switches everything, your video and everything?
I use a Rodecaster Pro.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like that's all my little like. This is Kev Muller actually.
Nice, dude.
Dude. Mike, by the way, Anthony, nice to meet you, dude.
Likewise, I was gonna... nice to meet you guys.
So,
hell
dude,
yeah,
Casey.
Dude.
Yep. How's it going?
Yeah.
Digital handshake.
The technical difficulties. I was just gonna go off on that for a second. Oh well, Casey, me too, dude. I'm a Neanderthal. Casey has to send me a link, an email, because I don't even know how to sign into my Instagram or Facebook from a computer. It's only the automatic thing is on my phone to get into Instagram and Facebook. So the Neanderthal in me is just like, I only have to click one button on my phone. But as soon as I have to do a password or some shit online, I totally,
it's over.
Oh man,
I start throwing, I start shitting into my hands and throwing it everywhere like a Neanderthal would.
Can relate.
You're literally in a fucking auto shop right now in the back. Fucking, it's like,
hey, dude, I'm in the upstairs office, dude. You don't know what's up, dude.
Hell yeah. Well, fuck yeah. Glad you fucking made it, man. I've
been glad to be here. Man. Thank you guys.
Nerding out on your your stream for a long time, man. Kind of just randomly found it through just like the links on the side and clicked it and was just like, you have that shit down, like jamming to like all those 6 songs, and you have different basses, different tunings, and it's just got the crowd pleasing going like hard.
Thank you, man. It's been a pretty crazy 2 years having started the stream right in the thick of the pandemic, going from playing a couple hundred shows a year with Max and various projects to playing 0 shows. So I kind of found the stream life through a few mutual buddies that were doing it, like Danny DK and like Matt Heafy is like the king of streaming on Twitch.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I kind of started watching them and I was like, I think I could do this. And now we're about 2.5 years into it, and so far so good, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, it kind of was the terrain at the time. Like, what are we going to do while we're at home? I mean, we weren't that far after you to do this podcast too, or 2 years and a month or so into this. So, we're roughly 5 months away from when after you decided to do your thing. So it's everybody's trying to figure out something that they can do in this, purgatory type situation that we're all put into, but yeah, dude, it's cool to see dudes like you that took that chance and did the work, were consistent. I mean, the fact that you stream for as long as you do, sometimes I hear you're doing 7 hours, 8 hours, 5 hours, and you're just like,
Joel said that. I was like, wait, what? That's crazy. Awesome.
I know they were like, he for sure got the time wrong. He thinks it's East Coast time. He's not starting streaming right now.
No, I was just getting warmed up, dude.
That's rad. I was like, dude, this guy's rad. He's going.
Well, when you said 10-minute break, I was like, oh shit, dude, I'm still winding cars right now. This guy thinks we're gonna start right now.
Yeah, they're all stressed at work. Like, oh no.
I had to touch up my blush a little
We've
bit.
had that. We have had that happen before, though.
Yeah, we had that. Yeah, it happens quite a bit. But I gotta say, you have like the best sounding microphone I think I've ever heard on this podcast. Mike, it's pretty glorious,
baby.
I mean, you have a nice voice too. That's not thing, but man, gotta say,
we do really appreciate that, because sometimes people just going off the mic on their computer. There's some trials and tribulations before we actually start the stream. So, but I already knew. I had that feeling already that he's been streaming for this long. I know he's set up. He's gonna pop in and sound great, and
it's like
I was right, baby. Yes, sir.
Actually, it was one thing. It's like having crazy, like huge bands on here. I was actually more nervous to have Mike on because he's like a professional streamer guy, and I'm like, fuck, dude, he's got this shit down. Dude. I don't want to fuck up. I know.
Yeah,
it's like playing a show right now. We're like the opening band. Like, all right, dude, the headliner's coming on.
Man.
We can't fuck around. You know
on
what I
the
mean?
internet, dude.
No, it's cool, man, to see like someone run a show. You know, you came from playing in a metal band, just like rocking out, and then you're straight up. You're a host of a show now. You know, it's cool. And you just have that in you. And some other, you know, like Nick Shangelis. That's really cool that you rated him the other day. He's got that in him too. It's got this funny, wacky thing. You know,
dude. I was like, I have been screaming at him, like, dude, please, because Nick is like not only one of my favorite players of bass, one of my favorite humans I've ever met in my life. We hit it off immediately when we toured together back in 2014 or 13. I don't remember. It was a pretty crazy tour. Some hazy evenings. But fell in love with Nick like immediately, dude. Like first night of the tour, we kicked it off, and it was Havoc. It was my first time touring in Europe ever, and it was Fallujah, Havoc, Cephalic Carnage, and Suffocation sharing a bus in Europe.
Damn, oh my God.
And my brothers, let me tell you, like, good times were had.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
I'm like, we all became family. I'm like some of my favorite humans on the planet still from that tour. Like that was like one of, if not the best tour I've ever done in my life, like start to finish, as far as like camaraderie and shows and just long lasting friendships, you know.
I was gonna say, isn't that wild how that happens? Because I've only done a few tours in my life, you know, big and small. But if people are down, people you could see their work ethic plus they're an immediate good friend. Because I mean, in the metal community, there's a few steps that we eliminate right away just because we have a commonality in the love for metal. So there's these social hoops that we don't have to jump through with the metal community, and so going out on tour with dudes that are like-minded, if everybody is, you know, a good human, which I would say most of the people that I've met are great people in the metal community, it's very easy to adopt that brotherhood very quick with people that you're spending every day, all day with, you know,
especially on a bus. You guys are all in the same bus. Like I know with the Cryptopsy, the same thing with Casey. You know, like those are like it's like French, you know, French Canadian guys, and you're like, all right, how's this gonna go? You know, and then by the end of the tour, we're fucking like cheers, like having a good time. Yeah, totally.
Because you share like you were saying, you share the common ground. You know, your common ground is a deep-seated passion for the music. And the music also has like a subculture, and if you immerse yourself in those things, of course you're gonna get along famously with like-minded people because you're all there, you know, doing the same thing.
Exactly, dude. Totally. We all have an art that we enjoy reenacting every night, because that's really what it is. You're reenacting an art, and
it's a performance.
Yeah. And you see that everybody's doing, they're on that same level of wanting to reenact that as much as they can as well. Plus we like to drink, plus we like to fucking rock out, you know. There's so many checks on the list of what needs to be acquired from a human. There, all those a lot of those checks are already checked off before I even come up and give you a handshake or a hug, you know.
Yeah, it's like, oh dude, are you here to party? Yep. Did we just become best friends? Yep.
And let's fucking talk metal, and let's fucking drink beers, and let's play metal, and let's fucking do whatever the fuck, you know. And that's what I've loved. One of the aspects of this, you know, I can't really call it a career, but I'm just saying the time that I've spent in this world, that's one of my favorite parts of it, is how many rad motherfuckers that I've met that are down so quick, because it really is this natural, like, thing where we don't have to jump through certain hoops to get to a certain level. We're already at that level.
the trippiest part's like becoming friends with your heroes. Like having your heroes like text you. I mean, that were once your heroes, now they're your bros. You know what I mean?
It's always a
and then sometimes they become your bandmates.
Yeah, I know. Just like we'll get into tonight for sure. I mean, Jesus Christ, so So I mean, speaking of that, should we start the thing? Well, Anthony, you have the speech done.
I'm ready.
Yeah, dude. Mike, we like to go back in time, bro. Throw us in the time machine.
Oh, dang.
Take us back to fucking childhood. And we like the starting point is always that point in that earliest memory that you can figure out where you're listening to something and it brings something out of you that you hadn't had previously. You're really connecting with something, whether it be a vocal melody on the radio, something like that, where it wasn't just background music. It was something that you had to pay attention to.
Awesome. Yeah, there was most certainly defining moments like that when I was growing up. I specifically remember as a young kid, my family's very musically, they're like my mother and father are music fans. There's no musicians really in my family, but music fans most definitely. There was a lot of pop music happening, and I was born in 1987, so like the late 80s, early 90s, there was a lot of pop happening. There was a lot of like alternative stuff in the house. The classic rock, my dad's a big classic rock fan. A lot of Led Zeppelin and Sabbath and stuff like that. So I always loved, like, I remember distinctly, like Saturday mornings, you wake up, you don't have to go to school, parents are cooking breakfast and they're jamming their favorite records. And I used to just like love Led Zeppelin. I loved Led Zeppelin, and I loved, Black Sabbath whenever that stuff would come on, and be like, man, I think that's kind of what, maybe that was more like the background music that you were referring to, that I was kind of like, deriving something from that. I was like, whoa, this is getting the blood flowing, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I grew older, I really started to find my own. When I think one of the culminating points was when I found the Red Hot Chili Peppers. For me, is like, I know I'm like, it's a metal podcast, but the Chili Peppers for me, I would have never followed the path that I did if it were not for them. And Flea specifically, like, I remember just hearing that music and jumping from like, couch to couch and just like running on the furniture as a child. Like,
by the way, two things. One, it may be a metal podcast, but we have so many different influences besides metal. And I started with doo-wop,
Dude,
and
fantastic.
But side note, that does not diminish anything, because Flea's a fucking phenomenal bass player.
Yeah.
He really is, dude.
He really set the tone for me and kind of gave me like.
So what age was that?
Maybe 10.
And how old are you now?
I'm 35.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
I was
right in there.
Yeah, just jumping off the furniture when I heard that stuff. And I remember seeing the music videos, and I think it was Give It Away. Give it away, give it away, give it away. And I saw that, and the visuals and the music and I was just like, what is this? And that was like a defining moment in my life, in my path. Something grabbed me that day, and it still has a firm grasp to this day. The energy, the passion, the freedom, I think it kind of comes from it, because a lot about music is expression, and to me, you don't get more expressive than the Chili's. Like, you can love them or hate them, but those dudes are like the embodiment of passion, I think, for their craft. It was a pleasure.
Did you discover it? Did you discover it on your own, just watching MTV or listening to the radio, or did somebody pass it down to you?
back in those days when you could just, like I said, Saturday morning, you know, when the cartoons were over and it was time to like vacuum the house and do your chores before you went and hang out with your friends, you know, put on MTV, and that popped in and my ears sprung up and I was like, what is
God,
this?
I miss music television, you know, whether it was music. Like
I would watch MTV during breakfast waiting to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be eating my cereal, watching music videos.
Same.
And in high school too, waiting for it's the fucking Mudvayne video. That's because that's another thing too, is you didn't know what was coming, so you're just sitting there waiting.
Who was your favorite VJ?
Ollie Shore.
No, it was that dude Jesse. Remember
Jesse? Oh, we talked about him.
Like, like looked like a sideshow Bob in real life.
He won that VJ contest. Remember, he like won, and then they're like, okay, maybe not you.
Yeah. I thought for some reason I just feel like that was like the era that I was just paying more attention, and I saw that, and like he was like a good representative of the counterculture that kind of was happening, and you know, in such a straight-laced world, I saw him and I was like, what is this guy doing? Like, you could be that. You could be like that.
He's an Uber driver in New York now. There was someone that like I randomly came up on like I swear to God, it came up on like my Facebook like reel or something. It's Jesse. He's all, hey, what's up? And he's like driving like a Cadillac, like giving Uber rides.
So it's not like a show or anything. He's just doing that. Well,
no, I don't know what happened, because I know that it was that Who Wants to Be a VJ contest, and he won, and then like they immediately were like, all right, well, we'll have fun with you for like until like we're not the executives aren't down with you anymore, and then we'll bring the second place guy and make him like forever. He's like the second place guy's like on the Good Morning whatever show now. He's been doing like broadcasting ever since. Like he was
the second place guy.
I forget his name. He was just kind of boring, basic kind of dude.
But the term VJ isn't even a term anymore, you know? Like,
right. I know. Crazy. We're like aging ourselves by telling
YouTube's a VJ.
For all the kids out there, it means video DJ, right? So,
video jockey, dude.
Video jockey.
Whippersnappers out there.
Just without the D, video jockey.
Oh, Matt Pinfield. I follow Matt Pinfield on
dude, Matt Pinfield, super. Yeah,
that's the ball.
Matt
dude,
Pinfield
right?
was the one. Yeah. Matt Pinfield was that dude.
You stay up late enough, you catch Headbanger's ball, and you get.
Yeah, well, that was like super cool. Like
that was Ricky Reckman though, and then it was Jamie Josta for a while. There was like I remember in 2005 or 6, they were like, dude, Suffo's gonna wear a decrepit shirt in a new music video, and we were like, oh god, I like VHS videotaped it. Like it was just like I just caught it, was like, there it is. It's crazy.
You guys remember that History Channel suffocation thing?
Yeah,
it was a commercial, and it was the janitors
for like the dark
they're
ages.
Playing, and then the janitors are wearing like headphones or head protectors, ear protectors, and the guy's like, what is this? And he's like, it's called death metal.
That's awesome. I don't remember that, but that
they
rules.
talk about
I love stuff like
medieval times and stuff.
Yeah, it's like literally suffocation on a fucking History Channel commercial, and I was like, mind blown. It's kind of like our moment of a different generation where Cannibal was on Ace Ventura. Just like what the fuck?
I love that. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I'm fortunate enough to run into those guys quite often. And my first tour ever, when I just turned 19, I just got my braces off and just got out of high school, and I went on tour with my first band, The Absence, which kind of started it all. We were on the Metal Blade 25th anniversary tour with it was The Absence, Goat Whore, Red Chord, Black Dahlia Murder on the Nocturnal album cycle, and Cannibal Corpse doing Kill.
Wow.
Jesus.
And that was my first tour, and it was like a trial by fire, and I got to be really good buddy. Another tour where I became like great buddies with a majority of those dudes still to this day. And every time I see Rob Barrett out at the bar, like we go drinking or something in Ybor, and he's at like the Reservoir Bar or something, they'd be like, yo, Leon, you want to do a Jaeger bomb? Uncle Ace came to town this week. And I'm just like, that's like code word for like, You got that Ace Ventura money. Let's do a Jaeger bomb. Like, yeah. That's a Tampa. That's a true ass Tampa ass story right there.
Yeah,
happened on multiple occasions. It's kind of.
No, I love your attention to detail too, because what adds to it is you're like 19, just got my braces off. I'm like, that's fucking, that's straight green, dude.
I'm gonna take you with me on a ride, bro. I'm gonna take you on the journey. You wanted
Let's
to get
do
into
it,
the
dude.
nitty-gritty. I'm gonna tell you.
We can't skip over high school. So I want to get back to the Peppers and your progression from that point forward. You know, like, so the Peppers were the deal at what, 10? You said.
That's when I started like really having an ear for music that I enjoyed on my own, and then my parents obviously you know, saw that, and they wanted to, like good parents, they wanted to, you know, help me along. Yeah, feed that passion. And they were like, "Oh, cool. Well, you know, he's getting into music." And I think it was maybe I started in school bands, like orchestra, you know, like everybody else. School bands. I was in the school choir growing up, like middle school, elementary school, singing in the choir, not like a church choir, but like a school choir. And then when the classes came, I became a violinist. Was actually my first instrument. I played violin in 6th grade, I guess. And from there, I wanted to play the violin. I learned a bit of music through that, but at the same time, like I'd play my violin, but my dad got me an electric acoustic Ovation guitar. And
some Al Di Meola stuff going on.
Well, hardly at that point, but yeah. But yeah. So he got me that from a family friend, and I kind of juggled both for a moment, but then I was kind of like, you know, fuck the violin. I'm trying to rock. But then I started playing the electric acoustic with my fingers, and I could not grasp the concept of a pick. Still struggle to this day. So I was playing with my fingers, like learning stuff, doing, you know, going through the motions. And then one day, maybe within a year from getting that, my dad was like, you know, maybe we should get a bass, because he likes a lot of bass oriented music. I was always like kind of humming the bass lines, and like I said, I was obsessed with Flea. So I ended up
awesome
trading.
For your dad to see that though too, you know.
Yeah, I gotta give my dad some props. He definitely both of my parents for sure, like saw like what I wanted to do. They always like let me do what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like if it was something I was passionate about, whether it be sports or music, you know, they definitely like nurtured that. They were very nurturing in my young years, and I'm very thankful for that. But his attention to those details, he was like, let's get a bass. So traded in the electric acoustic, got a bass, and it was over with at that point. I'm actually sitting in the actual house that I took home my first bass from Mars Music back in the day, before there was like Guitar Center and like Sam. It was a Mars Music like combo package that comes with like the bass, the amplifier, and a instrument cable. You know, it was a little Ibanez like starter kit, like Fisher Price, my first rock,
like a short scale.
Yeah, I still have the bass too in storage somewhere. And brought it home here to this house. This is like my house that's been in my family for a long time, and played my first notes of bass in just the other room over there.
Wow.
And it was hooked pretty much. Then I started learning. By that point, I was listening to like, you know, I loved System of a Down. I loved a lot of like the, you know, I think that was late 90s, early 2000s. I was listening. I remember when System of a Down dropped their first self-titled album, and it was like over with for me. That was like one of my favorite bands.
I agree, dude. That was a great album. And then Toxicity even more so.
Yeah, Toxicity really just like
that was bringing that band to full,
twisted it.
Exactly, dude. They brought that to that full potential that band had. But they were something that was so unique and different outside of every other band that I was listening to. And I would say that System of a Down could be one of the reasons why I started experimenting with different styles of music and the singing and all that kind of shit.
There's the perfect melting pot of everything, like operatic, cleans, screams, all the little weird like ad lib stuff that they do in the background.
And Serge
like,
having his own unique sound and all that. So it made you also then you find a Mike Patton, you find,
it's exactly
that opens up a rabbit hole of new ideas and stuff that your brain can accept as art.
That confidence and that carefreeness of not like thinking inside the box. They burned the box to the ground. There was no box,
and having the message.
They just did what they wanted to do all the time. It takes balls.
They really wanted to bring the Armenian genocide to the forefront of popularity. And
at the time I was like, what happened over there? And I like looked it up and shit. I remember when that came out, I was like,
well, how sick is that for for dudes to get to a level where it's like, oh shit, all right, now we have the audience. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about the genocide of our ancestors and shit like that.
Crazy.
And
got all these guys talking about like, chopping people up and worshiping Satan, and and then they're just like, wait a second, let's talk about some facts.
It's some reality.
They're real dudes.
Yeah. Some real horrors that have happened to
yes
people that I'm connected to,
Yep. And then they also have that side of them where they can make fun of themselves. I thought that was so cool because they just like literally just bared themselves. That takes the most courage in my opinion, to like bare yourself. Everybody can put on a very, a tough visage and like, be like, yeah, all the time. It's easy to be like that. But when you lift the veil and you're just a dude who likes to have fun and be goofy, and that band taught me that you could do that. It's not all about like imagery.
That could be a part of your art. Yeah.
Yeah. That part I thought was super cool about them. So I really fell in love with them in high school. And a lot of other bands kind of circle around that. I'm not sure what it was. I think they were a big segue. Them and Rammstein, actually. I was just talking about this the other day on my stream. Rammstein was like my gateway drug to heavy music. It's when I went from like, what I thought was cool, and I kind of picked up on, kind of from the classic rock, the family influenced stuff. I that's when I found my own. Somebody burned me, I think in 6th grade or 7th grade. Somebody burned me Sehnsucht by Rammstein. And it changed my life. I brought it home. I saw CKY2K, and like, we're talking about 2000. So I was 13 years old and watching CKY2K. And when I saw that intro and all those bands, all of those, that movie was so absolutely crucial to me growing up.
I have them all, dude. I still have physical copies of that shit.
So amazing on VHS and everything. Like that to me was another defining moment. If you want to walk down the path of my life and my influence that got me where I am.
Totally.
Those years, like 2000, CKY2K, I found bands like Rammstein. I found In Flames.
Oh,
believe it or not. When they fly the bee, when they do the bee flying, they have some In Flames playing. And I was like, what is this? Like all that cool music. And then CKY3 came out. And then I
Gorguts was on that shit too.
Yeah,
when he wakes his dad up, he brings the pot in and smashes something into it right next to his head, and then presses play, and it's fucking the first song on Erosion of Sanity, dude.
So sick. Yeah, like Bam was a massive influence to me growing up, and his love of heavy music became my love of heavy music.
Didn't Cradle of Filth play his wedding?
Yeah, he's really good buddies with Danny and those boys. I have some insane Bam stories, dude. I actually was fortunate enough to spend quite a good hot minute hanging around with those dudes later, after like late high school and stuff like that. I managed to sneak into like the Bam Margera world after idolizing him for my adolescence. That's a long story, but
We're here to listen to it if you want to tell us.
Yeah, all those guys were like super pivotal, you know, in those movies. Like seeing CKY was another band for me that changed my life. You know,
if you played fucking Tony Hawk, dude, you fucking had to.
It was before Tony Hawk even. It was I think those CKY movies.
It was,
you know,
yeah.
CKY,
like guys like us that watch CKY shit, they didn't even. There's people that love Jackass that don't even know about the CKY shit. Like, dude, most of the dudes in Jackass were all doing their own shit when they were younger.
Right. Like MTV approached BAM and was like, you guys are doing this thing that's crazy. It was like Knoxville and his like ragtag group, and then BAM and his ragtag group, but BAM was already like profiting off of it, you know, and had it like established. If you remember the first season of Jackass, most of those clips that have BAM and his entourage, they're just CKY movie clips.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Like all the shopping cart shit, that's all CKY stuff, dude.
Yep. They put new music over top of it and refurbished it and maybe treated the video a little better. And it was, you know, there you go. Boom, 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 straight to the bank.
And that band, that CKY band was BAM's brother's band. What's his name?
Jess.
Mm-hmm. Can't Kill Yourself, dude.
That's it.
Riff machine. And actually, just a little side note, the guitar player, you can help me. What's his name?
Darren Miller.
Yeah. So he went on to do World Under Blood.
So good.
A rad fucking side project. So good.
James Murphy, Tim Young,
Risha, fucking
so sick.
That's right.
I love World Under Blood. You know,
another cool thing was he was recording for another project he was doing, and he was doing it live. I don't know if it was Twitch or anything, but he was wearing a Severed Savior shirt the whole fucking time.
Sick.
Like, yes, dude, we fucking made it. We got into because he's been in my radar for so long, and then boom, now I'm on his radar. You know,
see how it works.
I love
Darren
that.
was a very influential person too, because I always saw him, you know, through listening to CKY and watching them. I saw him always wearing Malevolent Creation t-shirts, and I was like, what is Malevolent Creation? So then I got into them. Bought the 10 Commandments, and there was another chapter that was like, what? And then I found out that they lived in Florida, and to me that was like so cool. And then that's when I was like, wait, Florida, Tampa? I live in Tampa. Like, Tampa's the death metal capital of the world, excuse me. And that just cracked open the egg. By then it was done for, you know. I was already doomed, you know, for lack of a better term.
You're a football fan or a baseball fan, but now you're like, I'm from the Mecca. What?
Like, and then I had to I had to make my people proud and
metal, death metal jerseys and fucking flags from that point forward, dude.
Then it went, it was just like a cascade after then, Then
real quick, shout out Mersey.
You guys got Merseys. Jesus,
Mersey crew.
I didn't get the memo.
Yeah. Hey man,
it's all good, dude. I only have like 4 shirts in my bag right now, and I forget to keep switching them out. So dude, I probably wore this like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I have to like be mindful of which ones I wore, because he's sent me like a gaggle of them. There's some Rift Vortex and some Soulfly, but like if I'm not paying attention, I will wear this shirt for like a week straight. My wife was like, can you wear like a regular shirt every once in a while? And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I just put on like a baseball Mersey instead with sleeves, and I'm like, yeah,
it's clean.
Yeah,
it's a button up.
It's a button up. Right. I've got sleeves, dude. Now we can go out to eat.
Yeah. I know. Let's go to fucking Chili's, dude. Let's fucking have a party.
So living in the Tampa area, growing up here. I mean, I don't get much more Tampa. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers Stadium, I can look out this window here and see like the top deck. Like if I sat on my roof with binoculars, I could read like top deck people's t-shirts.
Jesus.
I hear the cannons go off before they score a touchdown here.
Do they do the cans for a field goal too, or is it only touchdown?
Field goal gets 3. For every point that's scored, a cannon.
Okay.
The red zone, one warning shot.
Okay. I'm a little butthurt because I'm a Chiefs fan, so you guys beat us in the Super Bowl in Tampa, so that kind of hurt a little bit.
Whoops. Yeah. So I love it here. I'm born and raised in Tampa, so finding Malevolent, being from Florida, and then Death, and then Morbid Angel, and then doing, you know, flash forward a little bit, getting to tour with like the godfathers of death metal, probably like the most popular death metal band, Cannibal Corpse, like, and befriending them before I even knew, befriending them, to touch on what we were saying before. I kind of met Cannibal Corpse before I knew Cannibal Corpse.
How'd you kind of meet him?
Through that tour that I did.
Oh, the tour. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Tour. Okay. Gotcha.
So I wasn't really like, I wasn't aware of their legacy. I wasn't aware of their influence.
I see what you're saying.
I just thought they were like dudes, you know. And I used to be in another band called Sorcerer, just like a little, like, you know, jam band. It wasn't a jam band. It was like Iron Maiden meets Death. And we took ourselves pretty seriously, but we never really did too much of anything. But we did practice at Audio Lab in Tampa. And for those of you who are like diehard Tampa fans, you know Audio Lab is like the legendary spot where all the death metal bands used to practice. And I would go to practice with Sorcerer, show up early, and I'd see this red truck parked in the parking lot, and I knew that means that's Alex Webster's truck. And they were right down the hall from us. And like, since I had toured with them already, I could just go up to their door and knock on it, and Alex would, you know, he'd be doing his thing, open the door and be like, "Oh, hey, Mike, come on. Oh, what are you here? You guys gonna jam today?" Yeah, I'm just here. You know, I like to come a little bit early and, you know, test out the rig. I got this new bass. You want to try it out? And he had 2 like matching Ampeg rigs, and I'd sit there and like he taught me.
He's playing moduluses back then?
No, he was on the Spectres already.
On the Spectre. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And he was, you know, he was always super kind, always would let me come jam, and, you know, and he taught me a couple of things that I use that have defined my playing style. I was lucky enough to be like completely under the wing of the Dragon, you know?
Yeah.
And full access to that, you know? And then I'd come, you know, my guys would show up to practice, and I'd be like, "Oh, dude, Alex, I gotta go, man," you know. And then some of those guys would show up, and, you know, and then I'd go to practice, and they'd be like, "Dude, what were you doing in there?" And I was like, "That's, you know, that's Uncle Alex, man.
I'm just hanging out with my bros. I don't know, what are you guys doing? I was waiting for you."
And then I realized, like, after learning about them and playing these shows in these huge venues, I was like, "Damn, like, what?" And then I like it was like reverse. Like I met them, like befriended them, and then flash forward like a couple months after the tour, then I started to realize their status, you know, their legend.
Damn,
and
what a trip.
I would kind of get nervous, like, after meeting them. You know, Paul Mazurkiewicz would see me in that same parking lot and be like, "Hey, Mike, how's it going?" And I'd be like, hey, Paul, what's up, dude? Like,
God, that was so weird. Like back in the day,
football
like
around, and I'm like, I want to throw the fucking football around, dude.
That's so weird when you first become friends with those kind of like those legends and shit. And like the first time they're like, "Hey, what's going on, man?" You're like, and you're still in your head. You're like, "I'm talking to this person right now. What the fuck's going on? This is fucking insane." And it's kind of like almost taking over your consciousness of your conversation. You're like trying to be cool, like, "Oh no," you're like secretly like shaking a little bit, but you're like, yeah. It's all just, you know, just jamming a bunch, just playing music, you know, just shredding. I don't know, what are you doing? You know,
this show kind of got rid of that for me, though, because, you know, talking to a Steve DiGiorgio or a Terrence Hobbs or fucking all these guys, like, but we also want to have a good conversation. I have kind of taught myself how to get out of that, where I'm not thinking like, "Oh shit, I'm talking to Terrence Hobbs right now," you know?
Right? Yep. And there's times in the beginning where it's like there's that we're like working all day. Like today, I worked all day. It's like took a quick shower, came here. It was like, boom, all right, here we go. And now it used to be like that, but there'd be like a fucking, you know, DiGiorgio or something. I'm just like, fuck, and like I don't even know this guy yet, and he's just about to jump on here. We're gonna talk, and he ended up being like one of the chillest dudes. We talked for like 4.5 hours. It was like, he like wouldn't get off. We're like, all right, dude. Well, it wasn't like that, but it was like he wanted to hang out forever. He was down to hang out, like,
dude. I'd love to get him back on, dude.
It's not delivery, it's DiGiorgio. He's such a kind dude. Like,
oh yeah.
The bass players, man.
What do they call him? They call him the super hippie or something, right?
Yeah, he is, bro. I think he was born with a pair of Birkenstocks on, you know, and a bandana headband.
No, he's one of the guys that we've recruited into the Sandal crew that I love so much. He's like our ambassador.
Bro, you know? I'm wearing my chanclas at this very moment, dude.
Oh, you're wearing some fucking sandals right now?
Oh, come on, dude. But I don't, you know, I flex a little bit, right? I'm a socks with sandals kind of guy.
Yeah.
I got my Buccaneers, actually. Got my
bummer.
Buccaneers chanclas repping, baby. Let's
Hey,
go.
dude, as a guy who's not into football, I'll say Buccaneers got the sickest helmet, dude.
Oh, dude, we got a pirate ship in our stadium, bro.
I know. They shoot fucking pirate fucking cannons when they score. That's like the sickest. I'm like jealous of that. We have like the Chiefs have like a mascot that looks like a rat, but it's called Casey Wolf, but it looks like a mouse. And it's like from the 50s and they haven't changed. It's kind of funny now. So everyone's like, oh, look at it's Casey Wolf. He's like wandering around all wacky and stupid. And I'm like, it's a mouse, dude. Why is that a wolf?
That's Mickey's cousin, dude. Don't try to church it up.
Right.
Chiefs, I fucks with the Chiefs.
I mean,
all day about that.
I've been through thick and thin, so it's like cool to see them doing good now. It's not like oh, they're doing good, I'm gonna jump. It's like I watched like so many shitty seasons, so it's like I'm reaping the fruits of my like fucking sadness of my childhood.
You followed Montana to
that's when I got into them.
And then you retired with the Chiefs and you just stayed with them, right?
Yeah, well, I was like they basically Niners kicked into the curb Montana, and I was like, fuck that. I was a Niners fan as a little kid, got to see Montana when I was a kid. And then they went to the Chiefs and shit, and I was like, you know what? Fuck you, Niners. Like, you're getting rid of them for Steve Young. Fuck Steve Young, fucking Mormon.
Damn, I didn't know I was jumping in with a bunch of football boys. Let's get this.
He's not. It's me.
I don't watch football.
Rails.
Did you hear me say I don't watch football, but Buccaneers have a dope helmet?
Raiders and Buccaneers have the sickest helmets. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, anything with pirates, dude. Sign me up. I love the Raiders because it was black and silver, and they were pirates, and of course I love the Bucks because they're pirates, and
yeah, totally.
That's my shit.
Tampa's steeped in like pirate history. I mean, Tampa Bay and Ybor City was like the key to the Caribbean. You know, it was the biggest port in the southeast.
What was
they call it Cigar City for a reason? You know.
Yeah, I didn't even know. Any of that
I went to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and there's, you know, the old area where they protected the coast, where they had built this whole thing where they got the cannons and all that kind of shit for anybody who's coming in. And we also got to see the cells, the prisoner cells of that area, dude. And there was this dope cell that they blocked off one wall and put it behind glass and shit because one of the prisoners was drawing a bunch of sick fucking pirate ships and crazy pirate imagery. It was so sick.
San Juan, you say?
Yeah.
And Puerto Rico's seen some stuff, man. I'll tell you what.
For sure, dude. They definitely had to protect themselves because they were small, dude. But it was cool to see that whole thing where this is where they protected themselves. This is where they kept the fucking people they caught, and one of them was a fucking pirate that was doing sick artwork on the side of the cell, and it's just so cool to see something like that that's been preserved.
It's like a hieroglyph, pirate hieroglyph.
Yeah, pyroglyph. Yeah, man. Yeah. Tampa's steeped with pirate history. Actually, we have a I don't know, maybe a cultural festival. I don't know how to label it, but we have a festival every single year in February and March called Gasparilla, about a fictitious pirate that his name is Jose Gaspar, and the legend has it that he docked his ship in the bay, the Tampa Bay, came aboard at night or came on shore at night, captured the mayor at the time and brought him back to the ship and held him hostage until that he got his way, and that got safe passage for him and his crew to like establish a trade with the people of Tampa and like safe passage there.
So you say fictitious? Is it really just a work of fiction?
It happened. It happened, but there was no actual like figurehead. Like Jose Gaspar doesn't actually.
So exist. He is the fictitious part of the story, but the story's true,
right? But Tampa was established. You know, Tampa was the key to all of the Caribbean. All of the Caribbean touching the mainland went through Ybor City and what now is Tampa and Tampa Bay. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, we have like museums about it and stuff like that, and that's why everything's the Buccaneers. Everything's pirate oriented. We have a festival where it's like a parade where they redo that whole thing, and we have a pirate ship that docks in the bay and captures the mayor and does the whole thing every year. And then there's parades, dude. There's art festival.
Does the actual mayor participate in that? And he's like, oh, okay. He does.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes, it's
he's
awesome,
like, dude.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
I kind of want to go to Tampa for that now.
Yeah. Come on down, bro.
I've been to Tampa multiple times.
And everything.
Oh yeah,
dude. If I come, you got to show me around, dude. You got to show me all the good shit
all day. I see a sick drummer in there who was just talking about like being down here. This place, like if you didn't know, and you didn't know where to look, you could miss a lot of really cool things that you might not know about Tampa.
Yeah, dude. We lost him.
Tampa has, they're not known for their internet.
No. I was gonna say it's like sounds like if Tampa's the like mecca of death metal and it's the mecca of pirates.
Yeah, kind of why isn't Deeds from there?
Oh yeah, well, Deeds is
he moved
they're
there
doing their own pirate thing. But what was it, Mark of the Legion or whatever that has like the pirate intro?
No, reduced to ashes. Reduced
to ashes. That's what it is. Yeah.
Deep thoughts. That is a deep thought look. Oh, there he is.
I don't know what happened. Talking all this good stuff.
We got a great still shot of you for a while though, so it's all good.
Yeah, you were in deep thought. You're like
pondering deeply.
We were just talking about this death metal pirate connection, you know.
Mm-hmm. Like Tampa, maybe that's something. Ooh, you might be on something there. I never even thought about that before.
It really is
on to something, man.
Yeah.
They were all that swashbuckling went to our heads, and
yeah. Well, there's that.
I never considered that. That's fantastic.
I don't know if you've ever heard the album by Deeds of Flesh, Reduced to Ashes, but it starts with like a pirate intro thing. It's like from the eternal sea rises.
And even the first song just makes you want to like
they have this kind of thing to them.
Yo ho ho stuff.
It's like and it's all like, you know,
yeah. They were always the death metal pirates to us, but they're on the West Coast, so maybe they
were big raiders
got lost.
Yeah, it's funny that the rum thing and the drinking thing has been stapled to the piracy thing, but really dudes who were out at sea for months and months and months, they couldn't get clean water then. They were literally hydrating themselves with the rum. They weren't trying to get drunk. It was the only thing they could drink, dude.
Yeah.
So the rum was actually keeping them alive, dude.
Water, actually.
You just imagine that, like all you can drink is rum. Like,
I know it's like, hey, dude, I got this liquid.
Like, I got rum.
I got this anti.
Yeah, are you dehydrated?
Yeah, hydrating.
Yeah, totally. Like,
I got the opposite of electrolytes. You guys want to fucking get hydrated?
It's almost like an energy drink at that point because rum's like a cane sugar thing. So there's probably tons of carbohydrates and actual nourishment for guys that are fucking stuck at sea for months, dude.
Could be.
God, what a nightmare.
Dude, am I having like internet issues?
No, you're good.
You're back now. You froze twice, but now you're like HD. You're like 1080p now.
Snap. What's up, dude?
You're 4K right now.
To be fair, I am getting hit with the remnants of a hurricane as we literally speak.
Oh, crazy!
I just saw that on the I saw the fucking Doppler thing. Is that getting close to you or no?
Oh, it already hit us. It slammed us last night. Crazy wind and rain, but it wasn't as bad as Ian a couple of weeks ago. I actually had to stay home from the first couple days, first week or so of the Cavalera tour because of the hurricane. So
because you couldn't get out.
Yeah, well, 12 hours before I was supposed to fly, the Emergency Weather Association and the mayor, the whole government of Tampa, basically was like, you're in an evacuation zone. You need to leave. So that took all of our plans that we had to hunker down and was like, well, no, it's not going to work anymore.
That's crazy. So is that pretty much like a yearly thing you have to deal with, like an annual thing?
Yeah, it's hurricane season, baby.
So it's just every time
sets in the west, we got hurricanes.
You said you've been at that house though your whole life, you know, since you're a kid. You're playing bass there when you're a little kid. Like that house is just, it's never been in like a zone where it was at risk for being like just fucking what's that, Wizard of Oz, like just like thrown to like, you know.
No, thankfully no.
Okay.
Our building codes here in Florida are much stricter than most of the country because of the frequency of these storms. And to be fair, Hurricane Ian, it's very rare that a hurricane loops around into the Gulf and comes directly into Tampa. It was a fluke. It was a freak storm. It's only happened once. It sounds like some pirate tale shit, but it was like literally a once in 100 years that happened. And last time it hit, it was 100 years ago, and it devastated because they were making, you know, houses were made of like barely bricks, you know. It devastated it. So they took it very seriously, and we chose to evacuate, and I actually evacuated with my Enki case packed full of bases and my luggage like ready to go. Put the cat in a carrier, and we got out of Dodge, man. That's
a question to ask. Like what bases? Like you got what Enki cases hold? I mean, there's a 4 or 6 one, right? Which
no, only two. Only two.
Per case. Okay. So you have 2 bases. What do you take?
I take my custom ESP. It's a B1004, just spec'd out to like exactly how I wanted it. And then my backup is a regular standard LTD B1004 stock.
Nice.
Actually, I did a little work to that one. I put a dark glass preamp into it, so it's got like one of the tone pods.
That's the trip. They're doing that now. They're putting dark glass pots. Like I saw that with that Music Man. They're like have a fucking circuit in basses now. So you don't need the pedal anymore, or do you need the pedal still?
It does. Yeah, you still need the pedal for the grit. Like the pedals do something differently. The pedals are more for effects. The onboard preamp is more for like a tone. You know, it's like the foundation, and then you add, you know, the pedals add like the walls. You know.
Gotcha. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I love my basses, man. I've been an LTD ESP endorsed artist for, I think going into 13 years now next year.
Jesus.
No, excuse me, 15 years. I signed on with them when I joined the Absence, so 2007.
Damn.
Yeah, it's been a while. Man.
So Joel just said the 2 basses you would take with you. So how many does that mean you're leaving behind?
Oh my God, too many, dude. Too many. I mean, to be fair, if you guys want to take a gander, I have these are the ones that I use on stream mostly, and I've organized them by tuning because I've been in so many different projects. Like I've got we call that one Old Yeller. It's like a Steve Harris like classic Fender P bass.
I
have that one. I have a bunch, mostly 5 of those basses back there are all B1004s that I just explained. One of them is I'll show you actually.
Yeah, grab it.
This one here is my custom. This is the Mike Leon 1004.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, it's
super sick.
Look at that custom, baby. Oh yeah.
Is that Ash?
This is Ash. Yep, it's Ash sandblasted. That's the only bass that exists like that. ESP has never done.
Is it like that matte? It gives it a matte finish.
It's like a matte shiny finish too. That's sick.
And I got like the antique car cigarette lighter,
cigarette
ashtray, secret.
That is pretty
pirate trap door for my 9-volt.
Dude, I love it, dude.
Yeah, I love this thing, and it's wired, hardwired. Just to basically you plug it in and it's ready to go. The other bass has a lot of other attributes that I don't necessarily need. This is like a set and forget. You plug it in, you turn it on, you go. You know, I kind of streamlined the electronics for this so that it would be very easy to replicate without like too many things going on.
That's a smart move. I mean, especially after I've had so many like issues on stage and shit where it's like, oh, like freaking out or something, like you don't have something to plug in right away, or you know, or it's like speaking of Tampa, I've talked about it before, like my nightmare was, but touring with Hate Eternal, but like seeing fucking, I wasn't a professional like Eric was, but Eric like broke a string with like a Floyd Rose and like just restringed it like within like 20 seconds, restringed it, tuned it, and then it went like right into a part where it was just him, and just dropped into it, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
Dude, Eric is a legend, bro, and like the nicest guy ever.
I have the same story with seeing him at Slim's. He broke a string, and it was strung and retuned before the end of the song.
He's a master.
He came in at the perfect time. It was,
you know what's funny?
Professional, dude.
It's Joel has the story. He's told a bunch on this about him being insanely sick and like playing a show and just like just being raging, and then he'd turn around and Joel would be like helping him with something, and he was just like in pain, like so sick.
He was going like he was like he had like literally he had rags all over him, like he had a gnarly fever.
Well, they were still executing on stage.
Exactly, yeah. And so like I actually like use that as inspiration now, because like this week I had like the flu all brutal, and like I just keep thinking, I'm like, dude, Rutan wouldn't fucking bitch out on
WWRD. What would Rutan do?
What would Rutan
Suck it up.
Oh my god,
dude, tough it out.
Yeah, you can't miss these shows, man.
Nah, dude.
He's always like, man,
no, that's that real the show must go on mentality
all day.
I'm here for the fans. I'm gonna go play my art and do it to the best I can in this current state that I'm in.
Have to.
And there's kids in that crowd that didn't even notice that he had 102 fever or whatever.
Can't let him know, man.
You know, and that's a true professional dude. And not only that, he has killer fucking music. You know, so that's a Eric Rutan's a win-win situation in the death metal.
Yeah, he's one of our shining examples. You know,
I mean, when we saw Cannibal Corpse recently, that last tour they did,
we looked at each other and we were like, "That's death metal."
No, I just pointed out my friend that's like not really that into death metal. I'm like, that's just death metal as one person.
That's metal incarnate. Yeah, I'm gonna see them.
We have Eddie too.
They're
coming through.
I'm seeing the day before Thanksgiving, San Diego.
Fuck yeah!
I'm seeing them the day 1 or 2 days after I get home from Australia.
Nice.
You always need that Cannibal, because Cannibal never stops. You know, that's one of those tethers to the core of all this shit is get back out there and see a Cannibal show. If you hadn't been listening to death metal for a little bit, you go to a Cannibal show, you're going balls deep right after that show. You know, at least into Cannibal, because they always make you want to listen after.
It's cool
after you could listen to all that Cannibal shit you hadn't caught up on in years, and you're like, oh yeah, dude, they're still fucking
still got it.
They're
still it.
The rockinest. Yeah, they're the rockinest death metal band on the planet, dude.
They just stand up and they just headbang and just like they're not like doing anything, like no fucking fire shooting. They're just like, and it's so sick. You know, it's like they just stand there and headbang
with their hands.
They still, but they still have those moments where you're like, oh, dude, that's tech Cannibal right there. You know?
Yeah.
But then they slow it down and you're like, is this brutal death metal?
Is anything else more brutal?
Yeah. But then the funny dichotomy of the Cannibal Corpse, I always think this is so funny, is like how incredibly nice and like soft spoken most of them are, you know?
Yeah.
Like Alex is the boss, but he's like, oh hey man, like nice to see you.
Or you read a story about like Corpse Grinder, who plays the claw machines on tour and then donates all of the
animals
plushies to like kids in need and shit after the end of the tour. And I'm just like, dude,
such a softie. Like,
how fucking rad is that, dude? We're just out. That's what it is. It's we're getting it out on stage. Plus, it's just this commonality that we have, that there's such a passion and love for the music that even though the outsiders would see it as negative, it's such a positive experience for us when we go out and you know, hook up with the homies and watch fucking Cannibal play or anybody else be on stage and play. It's this totally opposite feeling that it gives us as lovers of the art. And why is that? Why is it such? It's because we see that everybody's getting out the negativity to where once that's out, yeah, it's a release of that to where
good way to channel that,
and we're getting enough of a release through this thing to where once we're together, it's only positive, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
The mass majority of is just we're gonna have a fucking blast tonight, guys.
Well, I love when people like come into like death metal and they have like the vocals like they don't get it and blah blah blah, and you're like, oh, they're talking about killing people all the time. Or blah. I'm like, you know, like I tell the story about the claw shit. I'm like, you know, Corpse Grinder like fucking collects toys and gives them to kids and does all this like cute shit for like underprivileged like kids and shit like that. He's like got a huge heart. He's not.
They
just
all
like,
do. They're all like,
yeah, they all do.
Fucking
people. Alex Webster, when we were on MySpace, like when Odious was on MySpace back in the day, he was like, Odious was in his top 8. We were just like,
top 8, dude.
Made it, dude.
You guys, you new kids don't even know. Getting into the top 8.
Dude, we got top 8.
Top 8, dude. Is
we were like, dude, Alex, and then you know, Dan Kenny was obviously Anthony's best friend, but like one of my best friends, and went to go see him play, and he's all, oh, let's go to the Cannibals bus, and we go over there, and Alex Webster's like, dude, Odious is so sick, blah blah. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Something to drink? Would you like some waters? We've got some beers.
There's such a sweetheart, man.
There's that like, one documentary that was on HBO that was the history of metal or whatever the fuck it was called. Interviewing Alex Webster, he's wearing a Severed Savior shirt. You're like,
sick.
HBO, dude. There's my band. My band logo's right there on the TV for everybody to see.
Oh my god!
And he's representing his band. You know? No, my band on Alex Webster. And that's just that feeling of like, oh fuck yeah, dude.
Oh dude, we gotta
Unique Leader was Webster's shit. He loved a lot of the Unique Leader shit. Spawn.
True that.
Right?
Sorry guys, did I dip out again?
No, you're good. No, you're there. So you said one interesting thing you said though that tripped me out was that they were pissing, but that you first toured with Cannibal Corpse and then you figured them out later, right? That was one thing. Like, so from there, so after that tour, what did you do like after? Like as far as musically, what did you? Was it Absence? Like,
yeah, that was the Absence.
How long were you with them for?
Up until the end of last year. I did 3 albums with them since 2000. We took a long hiatus, actually. I joined that band in 2007. We toured a bunch in 2008. Did like a couple of Amon Amarth tours, a bunch of tours with like Goat Horror and a couple little things here and there. We did this first ever 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise.
Oh, shit.
And then we kind of, I wouldn't say disbanded, but we got really stale for a long time. I think it was around 2012. Things kind of slowed down for us. We were having some internal issues. We were having issues with the label we were with at the time. It wasn't with the labels. The guys that used to be in that band were atrocious and like very hard to work with and made a lot of very poor decisions that resulted in the band's stagnancy. So we were all kind of dragged down with those decisions, and some of them stuck with it. And luckily for me, as we toured, another awesome tour that we ended up doing was the Absence, Full Blown Chaos, Havoc, and Malevolent Creation.
Okay.
And that was 2013, I believe. So I met the Havoc dudes then. And this is kind of a cool segue into like the next chapter, I guess, of Shred. I met those dudes and we got to be great friends on that tour. And actually, our drummer had to fly home to be home for the birth of his first daughter. And Pete Weber from Havoc ended up playing with us for a few days. And Pete's like a brother to me. We've become best of friends, like brothers, still to this day. And so that kind of, and of course, Reese and Dave, we all got along and we hung out every day, and I'd go hang out with them. And then when the Absence kind of stopped working, Havoc was on their way ramping up and getting a lot more busy. and I was kind of twiddling thumbs for a little while there. And Dave offered me the gig he was going to fly me. He flew me out to Denver, taught me how to mix front of house audio because they were looking to expand into having a crew. So I think I might have been like the first crew member of Havoc actually ever. He taught me how to mix Havoc, specifically how he wanted it done, taught me front of house audio in his basement. And then we went on a dope, super long tour. It was like, I think it was us and Skeleton Witch and Early Graves. And we did 63 shows across the country in 65 days. So that's 1 day off per month. Otherwise, we were playing all kinds of shows, and we did that. I was mixing audio for them. We became even closer. We ended the year with a Barge to Hell, the 70,000 tons, but excuse me, for death metal. Jumped on that, finished out the year, and then
wait, before you go on, I want to know about this 70,000 tons thing, because I've been on a few cruises in my life as just vacationer. But what's it like to be on a metal festival cruise?
You got to go. It's like nothing
so it's rad.
It's the sickest. Yeah. I've done 3 of them now. It's so crazy. I did the first one ever with the Absence. I did the Barge to Hell with Havoc. And then we just did, I think right before the lockdown, we did Soulfly. So every band I've been in has played the cruise.
So
and every time it's just better.
A 3-night, 4-night thing?
I think it's 5 nights start to finish. First night, everybody comes in and kind of just like lets the dust settle.
Acclimated,
yeah. I think they start with shows like as soon as we disembark. They're kind of like ready to go, and then it's just concerts all around the clock. 6 a.m. I remember seeing Blood Red Throne at 5:30 in the morning, and I was just like, what is this?
That's fucking insane, dude.
Like you lose all scope of time.
Wow, dude. So they really have bands playing at that time, dude.
Cool.
All day. It's a 24 hours a day. I feel like there's
is there multiple stages throughout the ship?
Yeah, there's multiple stages. There's like an indoor, like club-sized stage. There's a bigger hall that you can play in, and then there's the outdoor, the pool deck, the festival style, where that's like the most coveted spot. The audio is always terrible, but the experience is amazing.
But everybody's having a great time.
It's when you see everybody circle pitting in jacuzzis and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if they got like approached by pirates and they heard the music and they're just like, never mind, just turn it back.
Like, oh, you guys, I didn't know y'all kept it so real. And they just left.
No, they would join the party, dude. Pirates are down.
Stage diving.
Yeah. Like,
so,
a bunch of pirates.
As a band, how does that work? Do you guys have to all be in one room?
No. They separate everybody pretty nicely. When I did it with Havoc, I think we got 2 different rooms because I roomed with Steven Sanchez, who was our tech, who's Dave's brother. I think we had 2 or 3 rooms. 3 rooms, I think. And they 2 beds. To each other, and luckily I've never had like a red eye experience, like where you have to wake up super early and play. I've always had good set times there, thankfully.
Dude.
I've played like a 2 o'clock in the afternoon ones. I'm still drunk from the night before, and then we play, and then we go get drunk again.
That's insane. That
it's a party
playing around the clock, though, dude.
Yeah, it is.
5:30 in the morning, Blood Red Throne.
Yeah, it was sick. It was so sick.
That's what's up, dude. I'm drinking coffee, watching Blood Red Throne.
Yeah. I did the last one with Soulfly. I managed to procure some psychedelics. A friend of mine had some mushroom capsules.
Nice.
And I was just telling this story live on my stream, actually. It's a pretty fun one.
Let's hear it.
I didn't understand Napalm Death of all this time. Don't be mad at me.
No,
I didn't understand Napalm Death. I was like, what is the deal? I get it. Whatever. I've seen him a gaggle of times, and never really resonated with me. I never really got it. But I watched them after I started, going with the mushrooms.
Yeah.
And I walked into the room and they were playing, and I was like immediately like entranced. And after watching for about 25 minutes, they finished, and I was like, I get it. Like I got it. Dude. It took me 15 years, but I finally got it, and I was like, oh snap. Napalm's so
sick. Is trip that live music itself is in hypnotism, and there's certain things that can help you connect with certain hypnotisms that weren't getting you before, and mushrooms helped you find napalm death, which is rad as fuck, dude.
It's called the set and the setting, my friend.
Yes,
so
sir,
there's a time and a place for everything, and
I love that. And I can understand where you're coming from though, because napalm death is definitely an acquired taste, but as pioneers, you're kind of forced to really you can get there if you really do the work, but mushrooms catapulted you to past doing all the work and realizing, oh yeah, these guys.
It was a learning experience for sure. Because like I said, I'd seen him so many times, and I was just kind of like, this is noise. But then I understood when I was on the, just took the right place, the right time, and then I was like, I get it. Yeah. I don't know what it was that I got, but I got it. Like now I'm on the team Napalm Death, and whenever they're in town, I try to go check it out. And actually, their stage tech is going to be my tech for this Australian tour that we have. He's actually out with them like right now, or maybe they were just on tour.
For drums specifically, or is he just general stage tech?
I think he's like a master tech.
Nice.
He might do strings. I think he's like more of like strings oriented, like bass and guitar. I think he does Shane like mostly, but he's been with them forever. And his name is Oscar. He's a super cool dude. I can't wait to see him. He worked with Soulfly when we needed like an emergency crew that our guys can't get into Canada, so he flew out, and he's like a wizard, dude. He's like a wizard with guitars. And
is it Oscar from Death Metal Productions? Suffocation
Zero,
Oscar?
dude.
Oh, we know Zero.
Of course, that's why I was kind of like,
yeah. I was like waiting for Joel to come on.
Body count.
They know him through Decrepit. I'm just.
Oh, I love Oscar, dude.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to get him on the pod.
Guy. So he sounds like Patrick Mahomes.
He was just it wasn't his thing to come on. He was too busy. Dude, that guy is the coolest guy.
He works with like sick homies only.
The necklace he used to wear the fucking death metal, like I know that he has like a last time it was like fucking 20 necklaces, just like all like skulls and shit.
Dude, my dude Zero likes to accessorize. Okay,
no, I love it. No, he's fucking rad, dude. He would take my bass and shit and just like fucking do mine up like just for being a homie. He was like the sickest. And he's Ice-T's guy. Right?
Yeah. He does all the stuff for body count too, which is so cool, man.
Yeah, that's rad. That was I actually talk like him around the house a lot. I'm like, hey, bro, what's going on, bro?
He's like death metal Kermit the Frog. Dude. I love you, Oscar. Don't be mad at me.
No, I love Oscar, dude. I saw him at NAMM.
Such a killer, dude.
Oh, he's rad, dude. He's all about it for life. He's a lifer,
no doubt.
Lifer.
Yeah, he's a lifer.
Death Metal Productions, man. That's pretty.
That's it, baby. I still got a business card. He makes these sick little. He made me a microphone case. Actually, it's like looks like a coffin out of leather. He's like a leather worker. I don't know what you would call that. A leather worker, probably.
Yeah.
And he made me like this dope little like coffin to put my mic in, and I was just like, damn, bro.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Dude, he owns Death Metal Productions. That's a sick fucking trademark to grab, dude.
And he's been doing it for decades.
That's why he got it. He got it way before anybody else would think to get Death Metal Productions.
Snagged it. Yeah,
he's probably pushing he's probably 3 decades, probably pushing 4 on for death metal. Like, this is insane,
I could see that. Yeah.
I remember we played with DRI or something, and he was like, "Oh, those are my bros." I'm like, out there,
who was not your bros? Like,
I know.
I remember having lunch with him one time. I took him out to lunch on a day off, and he's just like, everybody I'd mentioned, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's my dude." I'm like, Oscar, I get it, dude. We love you. You love everybody. That's fantastic.
That's dude. That's a guy you want to have in your corner, dude.
Absolutely. It's kind of it's a cool topic. It's something we were talking about earlier. Way in the beginning, we were talking about like befriending, people on tour.
Yeah.
And more so befriending, like somebody mentioned befriending like your heroes. And that is something that's like one of the coolest, I have to say, one of my favorite aspects of being involved in this business in general is the friends that you make. It's literally like, it's one of the reasons why I say yes to tours, is because I'll be like, oh dude, I've met some of my favorite people on the planet live nowhere near me, you know what I'm saying? And like being on tour has like, it gives you like a magic carpet to be able to go, oh cool, I'm gonna go see, I'm gonna be in Sweden, I'm gonna go see Per Nilsson, I'm gonna be in Denver, I'll see Pete Weber, or you're gonna be in New York, Terrence is coming to the show tonight. Like, oh my god, it's the coolest.
And the behind the scenes people too, like the people that do all that shit, you make just as good as like friendships with those people as you do with a Terrence. Like, like the people that are the tour manager or something, or like the stage hand, or like those people, sound guy, like Johnny Knobs.
I mean, you guys are both talking about Oscar.
Knobs.
I've never met Oscar. Most of the listeners have never met Oscar, but he's just as important to those tours as any other player on stage.
Some Oscar love.
Yeah. Well, it's like Dave Lozano, with the.
Oh yeah, Dave Lozano.
I was watching like that video we're talking about in Montreal, whatever, and it was like, and like my Chinas, and I see Dave like run up and do something,
Yeah.
I was just it's like, such like Dave,
because it's like a stressful thing. You're playing, like if anything goes wrong, and then the guy comes and saves it or something like that, you're like,
he's fast,
man, dude. You're like
right there,
dude.
Yeah.
Dude, they shout out to the road homies, because they keep the show going.
Yeah.
And like having like we said Johnny Knobs real quick, like having John like do our sound every now and then. We just like pay him to do our sound, and we just noticed the crowd would be way more into it. Like having like a legit sound, or like Woody from Black Dahlia, or like having
playing the woods, baby.
Totally. Like having him, we'd just be like, hey, can you just do it? Like, we'll give you like a little bit of money. We don't, we're a broke band. Can we? He's like, yeah, I'll give you guys like a mix for sure. And like you just notice, if you don't do that versus you doing that, how much the crowd moves once you have that guy doing it. Like everyone understands everything, and they're like, oh, I get it now. And then like everyone will move to it because they can hear it.
Dude, audio engineers are clutch, because they will make your band sound like you want your band to sound.
Totally.
And
exactly.
Like, otherwise, you get the local guy who's just clocking in for a paycheck, and they don't care. This is just Tuesday night for them, but for you, it's like your livelihood.
Yep.
And your message that you're trying to convey, and your hours, your passion that you've put into learning and perfecting this performance. And they're,
it's like the local guy's kind of got his ego where he's like, these guys, okay, well, whatever.
Don't even get me started, bro.
I know. I have. There's been a couple that have been really good. There's been a couple. You find them every now and then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, whoa, what the fuck?
Rough.
Yeah, totally. And there's ones that are like,
you got the guys that are like, yo, don't put your foot on my monitors. And I'm like, are they yours, dude? Are they yours? Like, I don't see your name on it. Like, dude, back off, bro. Like, tonight
like, have them hovering.
Or I'm gonna Steve Harris the shit out of it. All right, back off.
You're gonna get ball
sweat and that's what it is, dude. It's asserting power over another human, and
it's like a power
that goes over most of the time for that dude. And then he hits somebody like
it's like
you who'd be like, wait, what the fuck are you talking about?
It almost like reminds me of like someone that
guy,
like, it reminds me of like someone that
to see that guy.
Someone that became a cop to like because they got picked on a bunch. It's like someone that became a sound engineer because they wanted to tour, and then their band never made it. Now they're going to treat bands like shit. You run into those people. They're there.
Yeah,
like I'm not saying that they're. Fucking Max Zigman does sound in Santa Cruz. He's like one of the best bass players I've ever met, and like he does like legit, like fucking sound for people. But there's people that are like just constantly like fucking with you, or like making shit like fucking the monitor. Behringer monitors, like don't step on my monitors, do my Behringer monitors, or something like
dude.
that.
If I break it, I'll go to Guitar Center and get another one for $50.
Yeah, so I'll trade you. I'll trade him a hamburger for one.
Yeah, that's it. I'll trade you this sack of White Castles for you. Shut up.
But yeah, no, there's a because it's my venue. Fuck this band. I'm not into death metal. I'm a sound guy here and blah, or just any metal in general. And you run into those, and you're like, God damn it. And we've had Bill from Decrepit. We get bad sound. I remember in Indianapolis once, he's all, fuck the sound guy, and just flipped him off. And the guy just fucked off our sound, and we just had to play.
Oh yeah,
I know.
That's like
hey,
telling
Bill,
your chef.
He
fuck off.
wait till the end.
Like,
okay. You turn knobs on you.
It's not. Oh, your split pea soup just got a little extra protein in it.
Exactly, dude.
So it's 90% China now, and no other fucking instruments.
90%.
So you wanted floor tom in
dude.
your
Yeah,
wedge.
totally.
Yeah.
So funny.
Oh man, that was not a good move mid-show.
No,
But so Havoc,
punk rock, dude.
Oh yeah. So I mean, same with I went to go piss, but I guess you can't hear me when my shit's not on the screen. But Napalm Death was the same journey for me. I remember hearing them and be like, it's like a band that you understand created so much cool stuff, and you're like, okay, a lot of people use this band as like an influence that created a lot of stuff. But when I would listen to them, I'd be like, well, it's not mine. It's not like something I'm gonna get into right away. But there has been some songs where I'm like, I'm down,
Well,
but it's
they're from England, right?
Yeah,
just like Carcass and stuff, right? And it's like a lot of that, like, well, there's a lot of bands from England or Europe and stuff, and then there was like American death metal. It's totally different. Like that's like kind of from a grind kind of angle, right?
Yeah, they're much more like, grind.
I've always thought of it, and like growing up, like we always kind of thought of that stuff as more connected to the old punk scene and like in Crust and stuff and like Amoebics. And, and of course 100%. All that, the British like, and then Carcass coming from that whole even back to the Crass scene and shit, but like, but then American death metal is just a whole different animal, So it's like comparing like the brutality of Florida, Morbid Angel, whatever. That's kind of what everyone says, like that's or Death or something, versus like the British. It's a different or the grind in general, like that punk grind or punk turned into metal kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's like what? So then where would be the thing that like goes back? I guess Terrorizer and stuff, right? Like what you don't call that grind? What would you? I guess
I call that grind.
I would say so. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a different. Tato is like the godfather of like.
Okay,
This is my thing, dude. So we're all of an age where we kind of missed the napalm train in reality. What was like the greatness, and I'm saying this just as to what I've been exposed to. So what has been considered the, that era of napalm death that was so influential, we were too young to catch it in real time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So we took our own paths into metal and got to this extreme level, and then hit a wall where there was enough telling us we needed to listen to Napalm Death. So we go back to Scum, and we understand all the information that we obtained, in our findings, and in finding that Scum was an influential thing. But and I'm gonna do it again, dude. Your software upgrades have already gone to a certain level. You've been upgraded along the way to where you go back and you've experienced so much extreme variations of this extreme music that you go back to Scum, and there's a part of you it's just like, oh dude, I can name 100 bands that murder this record, that crush it. But you have to have that historian anthropological aspect of your brain that wants to go back and figure out, just like take yourself out of this time, put yourself back in the late 80s or mid to late 80s, and realize that this was something that was unheard of at the time.
I think software upgrades perfect. Yeah, software upgrades perfect, because I would say like if you were to go right now with what Windows or Mac OS that you have now, and then you jump back to like Windows 95 or something, and then you're clicking around, you're like, well, this is a trip, dude. This is how it all became a thing. So this is the icon this is the icon that you click. Oh, you double click. Yeah. So I see how they got this from. It's like you're going back and seeing where it all came from, and you're like, okay, well, I see where this band has influence from this, and I see where this band, like you start to like reverse engineer it and go like, so you have to like understand, like what Anthony's saying is like understanding the timeline and being like, okay, like obviously we're like in way ahead of this now because there's 50,000 subgenres now of metal that there was like grind and death or something like that and thrash, and that was it back then.
And we have like 25 plus years in metal each at least, so
and 25 plus fucking subgenres of death metal now. It's like, it's like they're just metal in general. There's like fucking 200, it's like, it's like, are you listening to the fucking, I don't even know, shoegaze fucking black metal, or I don't even know, I'm making that up. But like,
no, it's not made up. That's a real thing. There is shoegaze black metal, dude.
Totally, yeah, there is for sure.
So crazy.
Nice try, Joel.
It
exists, man. Anything you can think of now, it's just how it is.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Right.
Well, it used to be so simple. We just used to all like to go fast, and now everybody's like,
yeah,
fractured off.
There's like more styles of metal music than there are like actual types of metal. Like
I mean, I think it's cool because it shows how quick we want to stay original, like the reason why we branched off into all these subgenres is there's so many people who wanted to stay original and try and have a new idea, and
there's a lot of people that achieve that, that's why we have so much.
System of Down, back to System, and No Doubt too. No Doubt was he said No Doubt. But he said No Doubt. He's all No Doubt. But System of Down, like back what you were talking about, like was like this weird fucking circusy. When I first heard Sugar, I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Spiders is the one that got me into it. So I was like, I heard,
and he's got those like quick tongue verses that hit me in the hip hop because I was a hip hop fan as well. And Serge had the quick like
I love those lyrics.
And like,
those are my favorite lyrics. That meant so much to me. But no, like the circusy, like it's like, oh my God. It's like what the fuck is going on? And I was like, they're like now. Just like what Mike was saying, like taking a chance and just burying yourself, being like, all right, this is us. Like we're weird as fuck. Check it out.
That's why everybody loved them, because it's like it's attainable, it's human, it's more, you could understand what they were saying. They made you laugh,
They had their signature style of the thing. I mean, could you really call it new metal? Is it really? That's another thing too. Like
it's the timing. It's the timing of it. I think it's the reason why. But I think
I don't know how you go when you go into like that kind of a label, because
is there such thing as avant-garde new metal? Because I would call that like avant-garde new metal.
I would call it avant-garde. Yeah. Like I love me a good avant-garde artist. Like a lot of people ask me like what I listen to. Somebody was just asking me in my stream like, what's a band that I'm listening to right now, and a band that has absolutely blown my mind is this band Igor with 3 R's from France.
Dude.
And dude, amazing. There's no band like that.
Yeah.
When I hated it at first. I saw the video for Ayud.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, what in the hell is this? But then I saw them. I played a festival in Italy with Soulfly. It was Soulfly, Igor, Perturbator, the DJ, and Emure. It was the 4 of us playing a festival on the beach in Italy, on the beach in like a little weird amphitheater.
Crazy.
And I heard Igor playing from the distance, and I went to my tech, and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Fucking circus all of a sudden. So we walked over and checked it out, and like, love at first sight. Blew my mind. Like I watched Gautier up there commanding everybody. Like, I was like, what the hell is this? And then we ended up like, after this set, I was like gushing over them. I was like, where are you guys from? What do you do? Like, what's your name? Do you guys smoke? Like, let's hang out. The tent was right next to ours, like our artist tent. And we just got to chatting, and then I learned a lot about Gautier, the guy in charge, the circus leader, as it were. And I was like, this is avant-garde. Like it's steeped in like heavy music. They've got distorted guitars, blast beats, syncopated riffs and whatnot, but it has like no confirmable identity, and I believe that's the basis of the term avant-garde, is like without form, like
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean,
do
actually,
whatever.
it's funny.
Speaking of a band that does whatever the hell they want, that's Igor.
I was randomly on the way back from work today, and I talked about it in the beginning of the podcast, but I just Googled like your bands you've been in, and it didn't give me the encyclopedia, whatever. It just gave me some random bio of you, and it said that you were like in the Absence, and then you were in Havoc, and then you were in Igor.
Oh, snap.
That's what it said.
Hey, man, one day,
like,
you never know. I did do a track with them. I did play bass on a track on their last album. Yeah.
That's what they're talking about. Okay, cool.
So I'm gonna be, and this is in total fun, but I'm gonna be a little argumentative at this moment right now.
You look super argumentative right now. Your eyes are open.
No, my eyes are super closed because I enjoy cannabis. I enjoy it very, very much. No, but I'm going to be argumentative and say that yes, a band like Igor, or a band like a Stratosphere, or a band like Mr. Bungle, you can easily lump them into the avant-garde category, but I don't always agree with it, because and I love all those bands, very influential to me. I love genre hopping. I like to call it genre hopping versus avant-garde, because when they're within the confines of the genre that they're playing for the 20 seconds of the song or whatever that they're doing, they really are still following rules. And those rules do show up in other bands that we've listened to. Like listening to an Igor song will easily remind me of a Stratosphere, and they all but those snippets of the songs that they all tape together, there's still rules that they're following. So the term avant-garde is front of the line, the first one to do it.
Okay.
I don't see it in those bands. I love it to death.
You want to fight?
And I love it when when there's the big mixture of genres that flow so perfectly in one song. I love all that. But if we're gonna really break it down to it, we're gonna sitting there with the genres that they're playing. It still is following the set of rules, and avant-garde is not following rules.
Taking it like word by word, though, of what I mean. They're avant-garde, and like they can just go gypsy jazz and go to death metal, then go to. I know each one of those genres has rules, but it's still like, who does that?
It's a way to describe our avant-garde and experimental are two main terms like used to describe it. So usually avant-garde is something that's more like, okay, they planned like a David Lynch thing, or like they planned something in some weird way, but they still made the movie and filmed it, right? They still went out with a plan. Experimental is like, I just took a camera and like filmed like, I don't know, just complete and like no structure at all. Like just no, like John Cage stuff.
Fair enough.
But
Gautier does everything meticulously and with reason. He's very, okay. You got me. You cracked me like an egg, my dude. You got me. Yeah, it's very.
Well, it's like a way of when you say, but there's also like what this is a genre, or it's like a sprinkle, or like that's very avant-garde, like, or whatever. Or it's kind of that. It's like you're just
saying a blanket term.
Yeah, it's it's really interesting, thought out, weird, unexpected,
difficult to define.
Yeah, like where experimental is just like turn all the noise pedals up all the way and just like
I would say
it's like
like experimental.
Which is cool too.
He does everything with intent.
Intentional. I love like Igor. I've purchased physical copies of his albums since Nostril. Nostril was the first album.
No, he showed that shit to me like 10 years ago or something. He was like, check this weird band. I was like, what the fuck is this?
And I stumbled across it in a Venetian Snares rabbit hole.
Ooh, Venetian Snares, another fantastic group.
So being a fan of Venetian snares for years and falling into one of those rabbit holes, trying to find something similar to this because I love it so much, and just so happened to hit the Igor cavern. And
that is a deep cavern there.
That is.
Yeah.
That's a deep,
and I love it. I love
cavern.
And Stratosphere is another one of those groups that I found
I've
early.
Not heard of them, but
they actually Timba played on the album too that you were on with the Igor.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the violinist. Stratosphere. He does all the Left 4 Dead soundtracks. He does he does a bunch of
Santa Cruz is where they were coming from, which is Decrepit Birth Turf.
What? Decrepit Birth Turf.
Yeah, a Stratosphere is a band that you should check out, dude. Because even the drummer of a Stratosphere before they broke up was in Odious for a little bit too.
Come on.
Yeah.
Damn, we just did a big old loop-de-loop.
Yeah, I know, dude.
He's in Atlanta.
If you're down with Igor, a Stratosphere is a band you should check out. Started at Palace of Mirrors just to go backwards. Just start at Palace.
It's not okay. So it's not as sonically ridiculous, like kick you in the face as Igor, but it's fucking got probably, I don't know, like 20 different genres per song, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, they're insane. They're just like music geniuses, and they all just got together and like, let's make a trippy band.
They can play metal, they can play jazz, they can play gypsy jazz, they can play fucking electronic music. They can,
Intronaut, right? Have you heard of Intronaut?
Do mouth noises.
Yeah, Intronaut. Joe Lester from Intronaut, like he came out to Santa Cruz to go to school here, and like Stratosphere was going to school at the same time, and they just played like the lunch hall. And he was like, what the fuck is going on here? It's like they're just like out there with like fucking Romanian jazz from like the 1930s, and then into death metal, then into like fucking it's like it's just a shit where you watch it, you're like, I am dumb. Well, it's sick, dude. It's sick. I'm dumb. I found out today. Thank you. Like,
cool. I'm gonna go play Smoke on the Water on my fucking acoustic bass. Thanks.
That's basically how you feel around them. They're like, fuck yeah. Like Odious and Decrepit Sick. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. I get like pissed. Like I get like angry at him. Like, you are insane, dude. Like, I don't even understand. Yeah. I get like angry.
It's perception though, dude.
It's insane. But going back, because this is Wicked Weeds. Wicked.
I never heard that term before tonight, and Jedi Grind was saying, I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
Oh no, it's basically so.
Bro, we're in the damn forest at this point.
If we get off your timeline,
the elves.
If we're off your timeline, we're in the weeds. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, as we start with the timeline, we kind of just jump off, and then just turns into fucking like talking about like
that's what we're here for.
Banana, exactly.
Sometimes we need a machete to get out of the weeds. Sometimes we're just like, fuck it, dude. We like the weeds, dude.
We like need to deforestate right now.
Living in the weeds now.
I kind of want to hear more about pirates, dude. Like
more about pirates.
The folklore of Tampa is pretty cool.
We get another beer over here.
You have to come down here, man.
I know, dude.
We have a pretty rich culture down here, believe it or not. It's a very old city, and a very old state. A lot of people don't know this about Florida, but we are actually home to the oldest city in the United States. It's called St. Augustine. It's about 3 hours northeast of here.
Oh shit!
Really?
Just south of Jacksonville, if you're familiar.
How old is it?
Hundreds of years old. I'm not exactly sure, but there's a castle there. I'm not going to try to remember the name at the moment. It escapes me, but there is a castle there. It's more of like a fort, and it is where the indigenous folks set up shop, basically. It's one of the oldest cities in the country, and they defended the Spanish defended against the British invasions multiple times. There wasn't a historical event where the British tried to invade, and through this one fort they stayed off the British invasion for over a month. These folks lived in this Castillo de San Marco, I think is what it's called.
Nice.
And it's made, the reason that it stood up was because it was like the first and only building at that time in the village that was not made of wood. And after much frustration, the British were pushing, trying to invade. They actually, in frustration, they razed the entire village, and burned all of the buildings. The only one to have stood was Castillo de San Marco, and because it was built out of coquina shells, and that was the reason why the building stayed, because instead of being made with bricks, when the cannonballs would hit, they would basically, it was like hitting a sponge. It would just go, it just suck in, there's you can see on the wall still cannon fire, like where a cannonball just kind of went like bunk.
Damn, it's old school rubber.
Yeah, because it was like semi-permeable or whatever. I'm not sure, the terminology escapes me, but yeah, they defended the city, and then so the British got frustrated, burnt it all down to the ground, and left. And then everybody came back out and rebuilt the city, and now, here it is. So photograph was saying 1565 was when it was formed. Isn't that crazy?
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, because I remember like whenever you go to like Quebec City, right? They always say it's the oldest city in North America. I remember we were there one time, and it was, North America, not United States, where it said we went there and there was a 400th anniversary, and they had like 400 everywhere. It was like 400, we're the oldest. Fuck you guys, we're the oldest.
It was like Quebec City.
Not too much. Yeah, Tabernacle and fucking poutine. But Tabernacle. But no, when you go to like Quebec City though, you see the roads and shit, and you're like, holy fuck! Like it's like the brick, like fucking. You're driving the van with the shit. You're like, oh fuck, this is like an old school road, like fucking hundreds of years old. Through that downtown.
It fascinates me to think about that, and like to travel in like the Orient anywhere, or maybe like Europe, some spots, even more so the Orient, when you can think about the fact that the roads that you're walking on and the bricks that are in the walls that you're walking past are older than your entire country. And everything that and the constructs that you live in, like this brick has seen it all. That's such a humbling experience for me, and something that I very much appreciate in the vastness that I've been fortunate enough to travel. That's something that always kind of like keeps me grounded, is like, I don't know, nobody has the answers. Nobody knows what we're talking about. This brick has seen it, more history than I have.
Yeah,
will ever see. The thing was there when my country was founded. You know what I mean? Like it's just
crazy.
It's crazy to think about, like temples that have existed that long. Roads that were paved and whatnot.
We all blip into existence in America. The people.
Oh man, we're like the little we're bullies.
Not only is it just the perception of somebody who blips into existence and lasts 80 years if they're like they got shit together.
Right.
But on top of that, you're living in such a new country. It's
we don't know what
we're
we're
a
doing
fucking
here.
baby, dude. We're babies compared to
babies.
Certain areas of this planet that has withheld the history of that area in physical form, or at least spoken form too. But it always experiencing something much older than anything you've experienced is something very humbling, dude. It really is.
It's always it's why the Orient fascinates me, because it's like you're talking thousands of years, thousands of years, and it's to see it still like standing is something that really, like, wow, you think about yourself and you're just like, dude, I'm just a piece of sand in the beach,
you look at that, then you look up at the stars, you're like, fuck.
What is that? You go to like Mexico, and you go into Teotihuacan and you see that giant pyramid, and it's like, excuse me, what is that?
So do you make a point, because I know you're hitting all these countries now, and you're world traveling now, do you make like plans when you get there? Because I know that going through Europe and stuff, I would just be like, oh, what country are we in, and like roll off the bus and go play a show, and then maybe go like 3 blocks and grab like, oh, let's have a good hamburger down there, eat a hamburger, and then go get drink with everyone, party. Yeah, just like party, and then like pass out in the bus again, and then do it all over again. Do you make like plans to like? Do you make plans on like when you nowadays like do you like okay we're here, I'm gonna see this and this, and then like are you trying to see things now that you're
certainly now more you know, I like I said, I had my moments, you know, in my 20s. Like I've been saying, I got started when I was very young, you know.
Yep.
And I have been traveling extensively since then. So yeah, you know, there was moments in places where I would just roll out of the bunk and be like, where are we today? Oh, cool. You know, another gig, whatever. But as I've grown older, yeah. And there are some places where I, you know, wish that I could have explored more, but certainly now, in my mid 30s, I make a very concerted effort to visit as much of the local everything. Like for instance, Soulfly just played Download Fest Japan, and we were only there for barely 48 hours, I believe, since, you know, from touchdown to wheels up. We managed to play this giant festival, and Zion, our drummer for Soulfly, Max's son, he and I chose not to party with everybody at the bar in the hotel. We went to bed super early, and both of us woke up at like 5 a.m. and by 6 o'clock we were like hitting the streets, dude. And I think that day we walked something near I think we walked like 12 miles or something like that, like 2,000 steps. I think we took 20,000 steps.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, we walked everywhere. I was like, dude, we're not gonna go. It was for his first time in Japan. It was my second, and I was like, dude, we gotta go. Like, we gotta go. And as soon as he was like, dude, I'm down, I was like, let's go. We woke up real early, and walked all over the city of Tokyo, dude. We walked everywhere. We saw everything from like temples to graveyards to the Tokyo Tower. We went to the King's Palace, the Emperor's Palace. It was
how is the public bathrooms, dude? I hear they're crazy. Public bathrooms.
In Tokyo, like proper, like downtown Tokyo, it wasn't so scary. Actually, it was really nice. Actually, I like comparative to like Eastern Europe.
Toilet though, right?
No toilet, but like compared to like Eastern Europe, at least it was upkept, you know, like there was you know, some sort of a civil service that somebody was going in there and keeping it nice and clean.
Yeah, that's
for people. But dude,
you got some of these places.
I lived in Russia for nearly 3 weeks. We did the Cavalera tour, the first tour of Beneath the Remains and Arise. That tour was actually born in Russia. That was the first market we tested that tour, and it started in Vladivostok, the furthest east city that you can go in Russia, only 60 kilometers from the border of North Korea. And we started there, and we just hit like every single city that I cannot pronounce from there to Moscow. And we lived on the train, the Trans-Siberian Railway. We lived.
Damn.
I lived in a cart with Big Igor Cavalera. We were bunk buddies for like the better part of 3 days. We, you know, and that was heavy. That was hectic. You know, that was hectic. That was, you know, every place has its allure. Every place has its, you know, spots that they show off, and then there's spots that they neglect. Every country on the planet, I will say, has those spots. But like overall, you know, Japan was very well kept. And most places are, but I've been to some spots where I'm just like, hell no. A Gatorade bottle, and you know.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to go to prison forever. Jesus, in this view.
Snap! We have Brady Bunch.
Hey. But I mean, it kind of leads us into the, you know, because I mean, to preface this, I saw you guys play the Cavalera play at American Music Hall, and I haven't seen that much violence in a mosh pit. I saw people getting dragged out unconscious. Like no, it's
I
like
didn't
old
see
school.
anything. The lights were blinding me. To be
It was
fair, that's insane. I had no idea.
You guys did 2 nights there, right? I think it was 2 nights there.
2 nights.
So I was there. I think it was Friday, Saturday. So I went there Saturday with Nate from Ontogeny, and he was there. He was fucking insane. I mean, me too. I mean,
insane, or it was insane, or both.
Nate was in the same mindset of all the people that were waiting to hear.
He was like, "I'm gonna fuck somebody up."
Oh no, he was coming. He was just soaked in sweat, just going like, "What?" I've never seen him like that. Where it's like, I'm trying to. He's like, I'm just going in there to like get fucking. I want to get punched in the face. Like, it was insane. And but like we were standing right on the outside of the pit, and we were like catching people, and I was like, "What?" The people had like the hardwood floors, just hearing fucking heads just go like on the fucking. It was like people getting dragged out unconscious,
like a bowling alley. Because that was like hardwood floor. That's the ancient building, that place.
And because people were spilling their beers on the ground, and people were deciding to go like bring their beer in the pit, and just like that's all. That's a slippery agent now on the fucking bowling alley floor. That's the grease of the bowling alley floor. So it's like people were falling so much that we were like catching people constantly. But it was literally the craziest pit I have seen in my 30s for sure. But like since I was younger, and we were sitting there. Like we were talking about going in. My friend Pat and I were like, we're gonna go in. We're like, no, we're not gonna go. Like it was like I don't want to like be in the hospital or something. But people were getting knocked out like crazy. But it reminded me of an old school like San Francisco, like fucking how it used to be back in the day, like the Pound days and stuff, where it was like.
Well, when you hear the song,
hearing this crazy perspective that I just didn't.
The circle of the pit was like,
see that on
stage was in the front. We were on the back of the pit, so we were like. Everyone that was like, "Oh, I'll pit for fun." It was like, it was like we were just like watching shit, and I was like,
people were like, "Motherfucker,"
and people trying to like make moves, and it was just slippery as fuck, and they would just go down, and it was insane, dude. So leading you,
we ain't doing it ain't a ballet show.
What I was gonna say is the song "Inner Self" from Beneath the Remains would make you want to fucking. Pit,
dude, there were so many songs for that night because that was like
we were playing some jams. That whole set list is just rage the whole time.
Like every song you guys played that night, I was like, oh fuck, like every song, because it was like literally what I got started from going from like System of a Down, Slipknot, whatever. Was then it went to Sepultura. Was my next one. That was my next.
Was a good.
And then it was Slayer, then with Pantera, and all from there. But it was like
Sepultura actually.
Yeah, that was like my fucking stepping stone. So like hearing those songs live, I just got the gnarliest chills, and I was like, I had the need to go in there, but I was like, I'm not going on ice though. I'm not jumping in the ice rink where everyone's like fucking falling.
Yeah, dude.
But but you meeting,
I had no idea it was that violent there.
I mean, no, it was awesome. I mean, people made choices. It was fine, you know.
That was one of the better shows of that tour, I believe. The first leg was that one. The best one, the best two. I would say my top 3 favorite shows from that tour that we just did. Number 1 was Maryland Death Fest.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be impossible to beat that. I've been telling everybody that was probably the best performance, audience, and experience to have seen that project in North America.
Yep.
Number 1. That was number 1 for me. And then,
I don't think those songs you guys are dropping on people are like, yeah, I'm down to see it. And then they hear them and they're like, childhood comes like rushing back to them. And they're like, I have to, like, what the fuck is going on right now? You know, it's like brings this energy. But anyways, so number 2.
Number 2 would be the Belasco in LA. Okay. I don't know if anybody heard of that one, but that what you were saying about like the heads hitting the floor. There was a lot of that. There was a lot. Somebody in chat was talking about me getting tackled on stage. That almost happened, but it was in fact the tackler who actually got tackled by my tech. It was wild. It was wild. That was one of the most wild shows that I've ever played. I've seldom times of all the thousands of shows that I've played in my life have I ever been a part of something so chaotic. It was borderline. Like I thought at certain points of that set that we were gonna lose control, and what became scary was that I was watching. You know, usually I'm interacting with the crowd, focusing on my performance, but with that show, I was watching security like at any moment becoming overwhelmed. It was like like you boiling water to the point of it like spilling over. Like I was like, like any second now it's gonna like hit the burner and turn into steam. You know, like it was insane. That was an insane show. Insane.
Just chaos. Everybody was just out of control.
There was no lack of security. It was just an overabundance of energy. Like the people were. It was like we were in like a room. It was like the crowd was 28 days later zombies, and we had like an invisible force field between us and them, and they just wanted our brains, dude. Like bad. It was insane. And to watch like the threshold of security just being like overwhelmed, seeing all these people like on the radios like, dude, we need more help up here, somebody get up here. It was crazy.
Yeah, to see those brothers play those songs, man. I mean, like I said, like you're like, yeah, I fucking love those songs, let's go check it out. Fuck yeah. Yeah, and then you hear them, and then you're like, all of a sudden, it's like your whole body becomes tingly. You're like, "What the fuck is going?" You just turn to a zombie.
Takes over, like, yeah. You're just like, your brain rewires, and you're just like, must destroy surroundings.
Exactly.
When and Max tells you to fuck this place up, you fuck this place up. All right.
Yeah,
it's like
sure.
It's the gospel, you know. Papa Max.
I'm really upset for missing that, dude. It's got to be coming again soon, right?
I think we've closed the chapter. We've closed the book on Beneath the Remains, my dude. Yeah, we did a whole world tour of that. Over since it was since 2017. We started it in that tour in Russia I was telling you guys about, and then we did South America leg, which was also insane. And then we did an Australian leg, and we did another South American. Then 2019 we brought it to Europe for the first time in the winter of 2019, and then COVID shut everything down, and I believe it wasn't until earlier this year we finally got, that was one of the first tours that got canceled for us, was that one, was bringing Roots to North America. And it wasn't until this year that we were able to pull it off and actually make it happen. And the first leg was so wildly successful that it like forced us to do a second leg, and which was equally as successful. But, you know, like how they say, go out with a bang. You know, I think that was the end of it. I could be wrong. You know, there's always an element of surprise. I mean, we like to stay busy, but I mean, I thought that we had closed the book on Return to Roots, which was another project that we had done since 2016. I believe they started doing Roots, and we did another world tour with that. We actually just did Return to Roots in South America, in between these two North American Return to Beneath the Rise.
And tours. You survived it? You survived that? Like
South
America?
Yeah, it was amazing. I love going down there with those guys because, like, there's no more. I say this all the time, and I could not express this enough. But the best fans on the planet are South American fans.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And I know that between, like, you know, a lot of other bands can say the same thing, but I must say, going there with the Cavalera brothers, it hits different, dude, because they are like the reigning kings of that place.
They're like the biggest rock stars.
They're the fucking Metallica of Brazil, dude.
Yeah, they are for sure.
So those shows will always be my favorite. Like,
so to reverse engineer a little bit, because we might have skipped over. I pissed too much, but how you even got in contact with, because like you're Max's dude now. Like, how did that become a relationship?
Well, just like everything in my life, I feel like it's been I feel like I'm just in a weird way climbing a ladder, you know, and the next rung is like, there's always something, you know, that if you pull yourself to that level, there's always the next level. and it's been a weird like symbolic way that I've referred to my career, starting with the absence and then meeting Havoc and seeing that as the next run, and then joining up with those guys and putting out an album we did in 2013.
Poor guy had to start with the metal. He had to start with a Metal Blade band. Poor guy. Jesus, what a hard.
Yeah, right. I mean, Metal Blade band and the most insane tour. Like it was trial by fire, bro. And I think
it totally is. Get thrown in the fire.
That it's kind of synonymous with how I've been able to achieve what I have in my career, as young as I am, fortunately, like having started so hard right off the beginning, and you know, I'm fortunate for that. I'm thankful for that, but it's taught me a lot of like how to conduct myself around these legendary people, and I don't want to say the wrong thing here, but not necessarily seeing them as my equal, but seeing them as a human and not a deity or something, like
having like that first conversation with them. Have that first conversation with them where you're like, all right, well, you're the same thing I am, dude. Like, what the fuck? Like, but
here we are playing on the same stage, you know. You know, if you cut us, we both bleed. You know, we're here on the same path. You know, here we are, driven by the same forces, I guess. You know, and so so to go back to what I was saying, meeting up with the Havoc guys, touring with them. We did an album together in 2013, coming up on 10 years. It's crazy to think about.
Jesus.
But we did an album called A Natural Selection. It was probably one of the most critically acclaimed. Time Is Up was clutch, and I did work with them on tours with that album. I was not involved with that album, but A Natural Selection was their debut and my personal debut to the Billboard charts. We cracked the top 200.
Nice.
We did very well. We did a nearly 70 country world tour as a DIY like thrash metal band, just the four of us. We took over the world in 2020. It was 2013, 14, and 15 when I was involved with that band. And we managed to achieve incredible things, I think. You know, travel the world. We went to places I can't even pronounce. I had to retire a passport on that cycle because of just so many stamps. You know, we went everywhere, all continents except for Africa and Antarctica. And it was a very ambitious tour, very fruitful time in my career.
I thought the link to you and Nick, though. Nick Angelis was the bass player of fucking Havoc, right? Was
yes, he was
after you?
He was. So that album we did, it was very, very awesome. It was mixed by Terry Date and mastered by Mr. James Murphy here in Orlando, you know. And very proud of that album. I still play those songs all the time here on Twitch, you know, on my Twitch channel and stuff. I still have a soft spot for those songs. But then we did a tour. One of those tours we did was a North American tour with Soulfly. Max was loving this single that we had called Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death. I think it was the first single on A Natural Selection that we released. And Max fell in love with the symbolism, the lyrics, and he liked it so much that he contacted us actually and invited us to do a direct support gig with just Soulfly and Havoc across the country, North America.
Wow.
And throughout the course of that tour, we became, as we've been talking about, best friends, you know, very close. When it's just two bands on the tour, it's like, here we are, you know, we're that line, that wall is dissolved.
Right.
You know, we're having lunch together, we're hanging out together, we're in the same dressing rooms. You really get to see your heroes and idols being humans. So that was the next, unbeknownst to me at the time, that was the next rung in the ladder, becoming friends with them. And as close as I got with Gloria and Max, Zion and the rest of the gang, you know, we went our separate ways after the tour. I did a few more tours with Havoc. We traveled the world together and kept in touch with Soulfly the entire time. Then in 2015, Havoc kind of splintered and everybody moved. We all lived in Denver at the time, at Dave's townhome, where, I mean, it was the best way to get all of us, you know, we were touring 8 to 10 months of the year, you know, and nobody can have a regular life when you're doing that. So that was the solution there. We all lived together. In 2015, we branched out, kind of did our own thing. I mixed front of house audio for a band from Montreal called The Agonists, still really great buddies of mine.
Oh, yeah.
And right piggybacking from that tour, I filled in on bass for a tour in a band called Arsis.
Oh yeah.
And I love those dudes. And that's how I met like Brandon Ellis and you know, Sean Priest, an incredible drummer, and Mr. Jim Malone.
Fuck yeah.
Good old James.
We played a show with Arsis, like one special show we got to do that was so fucking sick. It was like when Necrophagist did their first show in SF. Damn. Like it was like whatever year that was, Anthony. I don't know, was that like 2006 or something?
I think it was 6, yeah.
And it was like the bill was crazy that night. Do you remember all the bands? Like we opened and
Necrophagist, Arsis, Alarum. Do you remember Alarum being on that bill too?
I don't know. I'm not sure, dude. But
Alarum was a Willow Tip band, right?
Yeah.
Willow Tip. I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Right.
But it was like Cattle Decap, Animosity and shit. Like it was a crazy show.
Yeah, it was like this one-day festival type deal.
Yeah.
Arsis
was
Arsis rules, dude. Like they were one of my favorite bands. And then I got the call. I think it was Noah, their bass player, contacted me and was like, dude, I can't make this tour. I've got finals. Like, I would love for you to play. And I had met them before. We did the first ever 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise together, Arsis and the Absence and a gaggle of other bands. Samus was playing drums on that one. So that's how I met Samus.
Old Samus.
The whole, everything comes around. And so,
it does, dude.
And so, like, I got to play with them and I kind of did my own thing. 2015, going back to the timeline. And it was on that tour. I ended up going to Arizona, randomly running into our tour manager at the venue. And the venue ended up being right down the street from where Max and Glow lives. So his name is, we call him B-Rob. His name is Brian. He was like, dude, come to the house. It was Mother's Day of all days. He was like, yeah, come on, man. You know, come to the house. It was the first day of tour, and oddly enough, it was Arsis, Destruction, and Sepultura on the tour. And so he came and picked me up, and we went to Max and Glow's, had a Mother's Day dinner, and Gloria proposed to me the idea of playing bass, just for one tour, because Tony Campos, who had been there in the position before me, he got the offer to go play in Fear Factory, and he was already doing a side gig with Ministry. So like he was super busy.
Static X guy, right? Static X guy.
Yeah. Static X founding member.
Damn.
Love Tony. And he stepped away from Soulfly to focus more full time on Fear Factory. They were recording the Genexus album at the time, and they needed a bass player for a tour in the fall. And since Havoc was kind of like on I wouldn't say a hiatus, just a little break. Everybody needed to let their hair down. You know, it's the end of the touring cycle, the record cycle for Unnatural. And, you know, we were all kind of doing our own thing. And so I said yes to the gig and basically got home from the tour. Without going into too many details, I will say Dave and I did not get along in our time together, and we butted heads a lot, and it kind of came to a head right after that tour. We had, you know, one conversation to end it all without getting into too many details.
Yeah, big fight.
and he let me go from the band, and I called Gloria immediately, who I had been talking to about the Soulfly gig, and she immediately offered me the full-time gig. She was like, well, if you're going to come do the tour, might as well, like, we need a bass player. We've got a lot of stuff going on. They had just recorded, and I believe they were releasing Archangel at the time, Soulfly, and it would have been the first tour of that cycle, and it was with Decapitated and Soilwork in North America.
Fuck yeah. Oh yeah.
So I, hit her up, and she was like, hold on, let me call Matt, or let me talk to Max. I'll call you back in 20 minutes. And like 5 minutes later, she calls me back, and she's like, welcome to the tribe. Next thing I knew, a couple of days later, I had a ticket to Arizona, and Dave shipped all my gear there from Denver, and I got off the plane and joined Soulfly and lived at Max's mountain house for the better part of 3 months, learning a lot of his discography and practicing for the tour and kind of getting acclimated to things. And
that's where he's based, is Arizona.
Yeah, Phoenix, Arizona.
Nice.
It's a weird connection with Soulfly and bass players, is that when I was 14 years old, I started a website. I was like, I'm gonna make a website, and it was like it was called sickness.net. It was like spelled like Slipknot, sickness.
I'm down with that.
Yeah. It was like I had it fucking. I was 14. I was like, I was going. My dad had just moved like to New Mexico, to Albuquerque, so I'd go visit him in the summertime for 3 or 4 months, and I'd bring my computer there, and I was like, I'll fucking try to make a website, and so it started actually kind of take off, which is kind of the fucked up part. I'm like 14. I'm like, just like, whatever. I'm like lying to like Roadrunners calling me. I got all these like fucking big labels calling me, like, interview our bands, be on our, like head the street teams and stuff. And they're all, how old are you? I'm like, I'm 18. And I'm like, just totally lying to them. And my first interview in person was Soulfly. And it was at Ozfest. It was Kitty's first tour. So Morgan, I'm still friends with Morgan. And I remember the first band I ever saw live play like for a big crowd. One of the Roadrunner people like brought me on stage, and I got to watch like Kitty, and they were fucking 15 and I was 14.
So
like they were
sick. I've heard crazy stories about those girls.
Yeah, I know.
I love them, by the way. I know
them
myself.
And fucking Toronto,
super sick.
Yeah, when they would like fucking come out and drink with us.
I would
like,
pay money for those videos, dude. So
I've looked for them. I've looked for them
right now.
I've looked for them. I've literally, because they played Shoreline Amphitheater. I think it was no, it wasn't 2000.
How sick would it be to see Joel at 14 years old interviewing Soulfly?
No, so the best part about the story is that
really, that's so crazy.
And it's fun. Disturbed was, by the way, opening the second stage. Like they were like maybe the second or third band on the second stage, and the Roadrunner guy brought me up to him, and I was like, they had like one hit, but I wasn't like it wasn't vibing too hard. But I was like, whatever.
Sickness,
I wasn't down. There was no sickness yet. It was only stupefying. It was only stupefying, dude. There's no sickness to be down with, and he comes up to me, David Dramer, and he's all, thank you, like to me, and I'm like, I didn't say good job. I didn't say that though. but like he came up to me and like shook my hand. He's because like I was with
he's
like
a nice dude though.
No, he was really nice because I was with like the Roadrunner guy, and like he was like, I was a faux 18-year-old. I'm 14 with my buddy Ruben behind me, and we get on Soulfly's bus. And after, I think it might have been Kitty first, and then Soulfly the interview was next. So I was interviewing the bass player at the time, which I fucking forget his name. It was bald Marcelo. Yes. And like we get on their bus, and because we're like, me and Ruben, he's from South America. We were like, like Sepultura, like worshipers at the time. And we get on there, and there's just like people in the front just listening or drinking wine, listening to jazz. Like we're like, what the fuck? We're kids. We're little kids. We're thinking like Motley Crue or something.
And roll?
I know. We're thinking like hookers' asses and whatever. And like we're like,
it ain't like that, bro.
No, I know. I've come to learn.
Yeah,
it can be every now and then, but yeah, usually it's not. But like there's literally Marcelo was in the back, and I had one of those cameras that you buy, the disposable cameras. And I took took it back, took a picture with like me and him, and it's just a silhouette of us. It's just a black silhouette of our heads. And so I know, I was like, I'm like, no, I swear to God, dude, I interviewed him, dude. I swear they're like, yeah, sick, dude. 2 like heads, sick. That's you. Like,
awesome.
But no, that was my first in-person interview in my life. Was at Ozfest 2000, 1999, something like that, and it was Soulfly, bass player, and it was like, I was a child. Yeah,
here we are.
So
flash forward.
I don't see how the story relates to the podcast. So I don't know.
Then
where's this going, Joel? Where's this going?
Weeds.
You lost the rights to the website.
The weeds.
Done.
Oh yeah. No, I was like turned to a stoner when I was still running the website. It actually, because it was only, I don't think there was any kind of like high speed internet back then. It was it was the AOL. Yeah, like getting on there like
the free disc.
Totally
60 minutes.
I just told
America Online.
I had a coworker answer the phone just turned 21. I literally had that moment where he's 21. It's Oscar, shout out, and I told him that you used to have to get a disc to go on the internet
or just pay for it.
I know, but
you could go pay for it when you can go to Best Buy.
20 hours free. 20 hours free with this disc. You know, and
they didn't figure out the
all weekend. Let's go.
I know. But no, that was such a trip to me. Like, that show was actually a big influence for me, just in general, with me picking up a guitar and doing. I was already like kind of like fiddling with it, but like I remember just like seeing the energy and like walking up and like I remember there's pictures of me like taking pictures of Soulfly like back then, and like seeing the crowd response. I was like, holy shit! Like I just interviewed this band, dude. This is crazy. I was like, I know, and I was like, where's Max Cavalera? He's like, he's got his own bus. I'm like, fuck.
Oh yeah, it does.
I was like, all right, well, I get it. He's the guy. I get it. Like,
God, if I had $1 for every time anybody asked me the question, "Where's Max?" I would fly you all down here for a Cuban sandwich right now.
Well, it's like my buddy's playing in Phil and Zombie Illegals now. It's like, where's Phil? Like they come play, and they're like, where's
your
Phil?
buddy?
Yeah, Mike and Derek.
Oh, Mike De Leon.
Yeah. He's been on here. He's been on here. Yeah.
He took the day out, and we have the same dude on.
Yeah, that's why I was joking for years now. When we finally got hooked up together, we've just been joking for years. Like, what happens when we're in the same band, bro? Like,
one's day, one's.
We almost went on a tour together, actually, because he is he plays with Richie Cavalera, Max's son. He plays an Insight with them when he's not busy with whatever Phil's doing. And Insight and Soulfly were actually one step away from being on a tour in Europe, actually, earlier this year, before everything got really weird, and everybody had to cancel, Europe.
Yeah,
basically. So I was like, listen, dude, I was here first, man. We're going to call you something else. Like, I don't know what I'm just going to call you Day. I was like, I'm going to call you Day.
Yeah. That's easy, because you don't want to like.
Because we're going to do, hey, Mike. We're both like, yeah. Mike Leon. Yeah. Like, no, dude. You're Mikey, or I'll be Mikey. You could be Day.
Yeah, one of the biggest like booking or promoters in the Bay Area. His name's Joel too. So his Joel 2, I'm Joel 1, so it's number 1, number 2.
Oh, damn.
We don't fuck with it. Like, because I'm like I'm like 6 months older than them. So I'm like, dude, I'm number 1, dude, by biology. I'm not like trying to be a dick or anything.
Got seniority here, dude. I've been around.
Got life seniority. Yeah. That's cool, man. So you met up with, so you started fucking tour. So it's like you Soulfly, Cavalera, like Cavalera Conspiracy as well, because I consider Cavalera. No?
It's separate.
But no, but you do those? Do you do Cavalera Conspiracy too?
There's been no Cavalera Conspiracy shows since I came into the fold.
What's a conspiracy, dude?
Yeah, hey, don't tell anybody. I don't know. I don't think there is any definitive reason as to why.
Okay.
When we did the Return to Roots tour, we did like the MTV Headbangers Ball, Winter's Masters of Rock.
Yeah.
Fucking mouthful.
Whoa.
Tour. But we did that in 2017, and I think Psychosis by Cavalera Conspiracy had just come out, and we did play one song off of that album, but that is the extent of it. We have never toured in the nearly approaching 8 years of being in Max's bands. I've never done a Cavalera Conspiracy tour.
Gotcha.
I don't even know. Yeah, because it's been all. So we call this project. They call this project Cavalera. It's just Cavalera.
Yeah, that's what I call it too.
And then we do. It kind of started with Max and Igor presents Return to Roots, and that's a mouthful. So when it came time to kind of, I wouldn't even say rebrand, but kind of like brand in a way.
Yeah.
The Beneath the Remains Arise. It was Return to Beneath the Remains Arise, but then it just became Cavalera. So I just say I play with Cavalera, but Cavalera itself doesn't have like social tags. So Igor does it all through the Cavalera Conspiracy. Okay. It's kind of morphed into that.
Dude,
that's what the issue is.
That's why I got so fucking twisted, because I know that I plugged.
I'm gonna make you a pie chart, all right? We'll figure it out.
Dude, in the beginning of this, before you popped on, I know I said Cavalera Conspiracy. I don't.
Yeah, well, if you were to look, if you were to keep, a tab on what it is that we've been up to since 2017, that's where you would find it on all socials. Would be Cavalera Conspiracy.
I mean, it's kind of funny. It's kind of like a conspiracy. Like, what's going on with this?
Keep it secret. Keep it safe.
It's confusing people. Like, wait, what?
So now you see me. Now you don't. It wasn't. It was never meant to confuse. It's just there's. There's a lot of.
Okay, so here's a good question. I don't know if you know it, but who owns the name Sepultura?
Come on. Who do you think? It's the band.
Bob Saget.
I mean, it's the guys still playing.
So who's the guy?
Okay, I know. I was going to ask these questions, but I've done research, so I was going to do them slyly.
That's fine. So who's the guy? Who's the guy that's
we
playing?
Just Kool-Aid manned this question.
I know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we all know Max and Igor, but who's the guy that owns the name? I don't know his name.
When there's I mean, so anyways,
I don't know if this. I think this might be beyond my jurisdiction, dude. To be completely honest with you,
I was gonna get a little sly with it, and you decided to ruin it. All right, so I'm just
what?
letting you know.
So my thoughts.
I was gonna do a yes or no question. I was gonna do a yes or no question.
A little quicker than yours tonight,
I know when you started talking, I was like, he's gonna ask a question that's gonna be not good.
It's I will just say, it's beyond my jurisdiction.
Yeah, for sure. So anyways, yeah. Max and Andreas don't get along. We'll just leave it there.
There it is. All right.
Yeah.
Joel can just mute.
To be okay, to answer your question without saying anything. This is public knowledge, and this is fair enough. Okay, so the most original member of the iteration of Sepultura that exists now would be Paulo. Paulo,
interesting,
was the one who came into the fold after Max and Igor. So, but he's technically was not the first bass player of the band. And Andreas was not the first lead guitar player of the band. Gyro was actually, and he was on recordings. Gyro, I'm not sure how to say his last name, but he's a fantastic gentleman.
Schizophrenia?
Yes.
Okay.
Gyro was the original lead guitar player, and I forget the name of the original bass player, but they both got replaced after those days. It was Paulo came into the fold first, and I believe there was a time where Paulo, Gyro, Max, and Igor were Sepultura. Then I could be wrong, but then Andreas came into the fold, and that was like the golden era, as we can refer to it as that. The Sepultura that we all know and love. That's what happened there.
Totally. So why don't they just get along? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, no, I was.
I'm sorry. No. I'm just joking. I'm joking.
Andreas was one who was like,
that.
"Oh, dude, we got."
No. Let's change the subject. Let's change the subject.
Why, dude?
We're not walking on thin ice, dude.
I know it's thin, dude. This is a touchy subject, brother.
We're definitely we're like not in the weeds anymore. We're in like
It's like we're on the ice. We're on the ice now.
Sorry, dude.
We're in that goddamn glacier.
I didn't realize I was.
We just entered like
with that
Area 51 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I knew all about this. I was going to be sly.
Look, I just don't want to speak out of place.
No, I know.
I don't want to.
You'd rather have them say the thing than you say the thing.
Look, there's plenty of interviews and outlets that you can go and
I've seen them all. No, I know.
All right, then I'll do that.
Anthony's
I won't grill you anymore.
He likes to dig. He's a digger. So
Look, I love Mudvayne too, just like the next guy. I'm all about the dig, bro. Like, give me. Anyways, I love you guys.
You were born in 1987, dude. So what's up with the Cavalera, bro? What's going on?
Yeah, so all those
what's up? The stuff that's happening when you were born, dude. What's going on, dude? What's up?
Well, let me tell you all about it. No, I've been, I've been fortunate enough to be around these guys for long enough to, I have my off-air opinions of things. I've seen what I've seen and I've gathered what I've gathered. I will not share, obviously. But yeah, man, I mean, everything happens for a reason. I can just say it like that. Everything happens for a reason. Let the cards lie where they fall, and we're fortunate enough. I will say we are fortunate enough, though the brand and the bands are fragmented. We do still have all of the original members with us today, so that's something to take away, and that's something to be positive about. There's a lot of brothers in heavy metal. You
look at Pantera.
And fortunately, they're all still with us. Yeah. So without saying too much, I'm happy to be where I am.
Yeah, dude, you're killing it, man. You're killing it.
Thank you.
And then you're a fucking good host too. Like fucking.
Hey, man, come on over. Just take your shoes off when you come to my house.
My shoes are off. They're off, dude.
Take your fucking.
Whoa.
Yeah. That was not a
only.
I'm not flexible,
podcast.
Dude, so that sucks. That sucks.
Just kidding, man. Yeah. So I'm happy to be, where my path has taken me. It's been a long path, and I'm just happy. I'm just happy to be here, man.
Here's a question to kind of take things up. So which drummer in your journey has made you progress the most?
That's a fantastic question. I've been fortunate enough to play with. I don't have words. Some of these guys that I've been playing with, I think about it sometimes, and I'm just like, what am I doing here? Like, how did I get in this situation as a bass player in one half of what would be called the rhythm section of a band? I've been blessed with an overabundance of like absolute phenom players. I can say I do have my favorite, but I will say my top 3 favorite drummers that I've ever played with, in no specific order, would be, for different reasons. Also, I must preface, Igor, obviously, Big Igor Cavalera, Sean Priest from Arsis, and Pete Weber. Pete Weber, all 3 of those guys have influenced me in my playing and in my personally in different ways. But yeah, it's an injustice just to name those 3, because also Zion is like, should be right up there. I don't know. I don't really know what to say.
It's like a different kind of question for a bass player versus like a drummer, because we asked we have a lot of drummers on here because we have fucking drummers, usually Casey and Joseph are the drummers. Casey and JoJo, anyway.
Snap.
But like I know, but there's like a connection that you have as a bass player to a drummer is different than a drummer watching a drummer has. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
So it's like talking to Steve Giorgio. He was like talking about like Hoagland.
He's got a list, man.
Well, Hoagland was like his because like they would just do funny things off the cuff, and they knew what the fuck they were doing.
Right.
It was a joke, and it was like for them to have fun with. And then the rest of the band be like, dude, chill the fuck out. This is not
right.
Like, this isn't
I've got my guy like that. I've got my guy like that. He's not a name that you would recognize, but hell, man, if he ever listens to this podcast, I'm sure he'd love to hear it. But my friend Chris Merriman mentioned a band that I played in back in the day, that Sorcerer project that I did for a long time. That to me, he, I guess you could say, would be my Hoagland to the DiGiorgio.
Okay.
You know, we like there's
like a wavelength
of all the people that I've played with in my life, nobody has been able to read me, and I don't want to say like that being one-sided, but nobody has been able to communicate musically with me as Chris did. You know, I'm still good buddies with Chris. I love him very dearly. I hold him in the most highest regard. I actually really cherish this question because I don't get to talk about him enough. He was very important to me as a developing player because of this wavelength, you know, because of, you know,
is there anything we can hear?
Music is like a form of telepathy, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and there's
language and telepathy.
I literally was just saying I was muted because I muted myself, but I was trying to say that right when you fucking said it was.
I got you, fam. Don't worry.
It's like a thing of telepathy, and I felt it, but I know that you players, because I'm just the vocalist. The players can get deeper into that telepathy realm, but I can still be in the room and watch it happening, you know.
It's so tangible. It's like you know,
you're in this bubble, and then however much of it or your brain's gonna let you be able to tap into it, and you just got to be in this right like state of mind. But the telepathy between a drummer and a bass player is something that I've learned to appreciate more in my later years of listening to music. It used to always be vocalist, drummer, fucking shredder over it, but then I started to realize if I love drums so much, pay attention to the bass with it, and it becomes a whole new thing.
And it's the foundation of you know, it's
it makes so much more sense, you know.
I have a weird way of explaining music because I have a strange thought process in general, but I feel like a band is almost like a shoe. Right? Hear me out. You've got the drums, which would be obviously the sole of the shoe, the bottom. You need that, or you don't have footwear in general. There's no purpose of having the shoe at all if the foot, you know, if the sole is not there. Then you have what I would think is the wall of the shoe itself. The shoe itself would be the bass. And well, more so the melody. Let me stop there. The melodies are what would be the shoe itself. Bass, in my approach to playing, would be the laces that sew it all together, because a shoe without laces, you know, it's loose, you know. That's why I see it that way. Like a shoe with no laces will fall off and it doesn't really serve its purpose. So as a bass player, it is my job to take like the rhythm of what's happening provided by the drums and the melody of what's being provided by guitars and be a symbiosis of both of those things.
Yeah.
Tying them together symbiotically as the lace, you know?
Totally. When you were starting, I was like, the bass is the laces, dude. The bass is the thing that
holds it all together, you know?
Tethers each side of this thing, which is, you know, the percussion versus the melody.
Percussion versus melody. Yes. Bass is the instrument that should be performing both of those tasks simultaneously, in my opinion. That's how I try to approach it, you know?
That's
play
right.
Perfect, play off of the melodies, but play with the rhythms.
That's what's up, dude. That's exactly how I look at it too. And I didn't look at it like that. That's what I was saying earlier, is I didn't look, the bass wasn't as important in my early years of listening to metal or getting into music, but
it's easily overlooked historically as an instrument.
But this is the thing. People like you keep expanding and listening to different styles of music, you're gonna be forced to realize that is a very, very not probably one of the most important, dude. Literally.
Yep.
That when you use that metaphor that we just said, which I totally agree with, it's the laces that holds everything together. That's so fucking perfect, dude.
Bro,
and that's why I love a lot of the bass players in music. Going back and listening to old music that I didn't necessarily pay attention to the bass player, now I'm paying attention, as long as the mix is something that I can actually hear the bass.
That's another thing too. That's another thing with metal in general. I know that, you know, a lot of I've talked to Nick Shingelis much about this, but bass by a producer's definition of a good mix in an album in a metal band is they're like, oh, it sounds sick, dude, and they turn it down. And so it's up to the bass player to be like, fuck that, dude, turn it up, fuck you,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, cause like I've heard, you know, all the arguments for it and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, it's just the low end to accent the low notes of the guitar and whatever. But
that's,
like,
it's like that's a pretty basic.
Basic.
See what I did there? No, that's a very common application for bass, to just hold down, you know, the low end and whatnot. But you can do that and also step off and become, you know, I'm not trying to be a Jaco Pastorius. I put guys like that on this unattainable pedestal. Like that's like, I don't know what to say, like how to say it. Like there is definitely, put it this way, the albums that I'm most proud of would probably be A Natural Selection by Havoc and the last two albums that I did with The Absence, Gift for the Obsessed and Coffinized. Bass doesn't necessarily need to be just a frequency. It has its own tonalities that can also add a different level of texture to melody. A song.
Yeah, you can
not
have
necessarily even melody. Like the like, if you go and listen to any of the singles off of Unnatural Selection, like the bass, I could be following what's happening melodically with the guitars, but the tonality and the approach to playing, the aggressive approach that I have playing, you can hear it stand out a little bit more. I'm playing the same notes, I'm following the structure melodically, but it just sounds not like a guitar.
And the dynamics of your right hand too can add things to it too, like little treasures in there too, and little like accents. I know what, you're fucking Tampa, dude.
We're doing the pirate thing.
Oh, we're back to the Pirates. Here we go.
Buried
top of every hour, we're gonna put pirate reference.
You know, I'm always
Super Bowl, whatever. I'll never forget
references and imagery.
It's awesome though. It's it's true. Like every great player will tell you, like, good tone isn't in your gear, it's in your hands. You know,
we've heard that.
And when you're a bass player, when you're a bass player and you play
even more so,
classic, like a classic approach, like a, I don't know, I don't want to use the wrong words here, but like a I don't even know what to call it. It's not like a true bass player. True bass players can play with a pick, like me. Or
I'm not a true bass player.
You know, you are. If you play bass, you're a true. I mean, I don't know. If you have, you know, the yearning to play it, you're a bass player.
Yeah.
If you want to, if you're playing a bass, you're a bass player. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you play with your fingers, I guess, as the approach that you take, you have all of your tone is coming from your hands. It is your fingers, both.
No pedals, nothing to hide anything. It's only your fucking hands.
Right. Or like, you know, a pick can definitely change the tonalities of playing, you know, it gives you a different approach. But those tonalities can also, different tonalities can be achieved through your approach with your fingers. Like my fingers are unfairly calloused. Like I'll tell you this, I struggle oftentimes just using a cell phone because my calluses are so thick. My phone's like, that's not a human. Why are you trying to use your phone with a hot, like, is that a sausage or a hot dog? What is that?
Why are you trying to put a rock on the fucking screen right now? Dude?
What the hell
is that a hot dog?
You know what's fucked up is today Carrie Gear sent me. I'll send all later. We'll do this. You guys should send me your scores. But there's it's a basic beat. This goes like this. It's on like on you go to on your phone and it goes like and it goes away and you have to keep it going and it scores you on it. And it like Carrie got a 923, I got a 915 or something. But it's like, but we were trying for hours like to get like over 800. We're like fuck, because it's like it starts like this and it goes. And you have to keep doing it.
Oh, and like yeah, I've
testing
seen
your
that
rhythm,
before.
And like it's like
your natural rhythm,
it
your
fucks
tempo.
you up. Yeah, because you're like, oh shit, it's going away, and I get like excited or something, or like when you go live and stuff for the first time, you have no click tracks. Like, oh, we have Ian. Whoever can get above a 923, like let's fucking do it, dude. It's insanely hard. It's when you have to like rely on your brain to actually like to
keep
like
time.
when the beat goes away. You have it's like a metronome. It's like a
you are like the metronome.
Then all of a sudden
you
you're like
to be consistent,
and it measures you to the millisecond, like how far you're off, and scores you on it for each.
What, 1,000's like right on beat?
1,000 is perfect, which I don't think is really doable.
Achievable,
I don't think it's
bro. Text me anytime, like, and
really?
you will see how many typos all the time.
Dude, I'm the worst at that, dude.
We'll be on the gram, like, watch. Trust me, like we'll be talking on the gram and you'll see me typing for like 2 or 3 minutes, but then one sentence will appear and you're like, what the fuck was you doing that whole time? My brother, I was hitting the wrong key. Okay, these things I have a mind of their own.
Oh, you got
dude.
mitts.
The boys are thick. All right, thick tone, thick fingers, baby. I was born. I didn't ask for this. This is the life I chose. The life that we lead. I don't know, but yeah, it'd be like that.
Oh man, that's fucking. I mean, that's perfect for the sick dude. Casey chooses that fucking video
podcast.
Well, dude, to take it back to Steve, like that's playing with your fingers, showing your emotions.
Yeah, that sounds like something Steve would say for sure.
It is true though. Like once you watch that dude play some shit off individual thought patterns, you're like,
yeah. The 3-string bass, like how bass made that work.
But that was for a specific band, though. It wasn't for. Was it?
That was a Testament. Or it might have been Obituary. Remember, he was like the day before. He was like he had to learn all these songs, and he was like, "Fuck, like this string, I'm not really using much, so I'm gonna get rid of it as a 5-string, or 5 or 6-string." And he took out the middle
string, and he took the 2 out and made it a 3. Right?
Other bands were like, "You're not gonna fucking do it, dude." And he went out there and did it, and he's like,
"Hold my Birkenstocks." Got this, dude.
What I love about Steve too is like, I'm a big Sharks fan, and he was like sitting there, he's like talking to us, he's like, look at this like white light in his face, like, yeah, totally. What? He's watching the Sharks game. like I was watching it too in the corner too. I had it like in the corner too, and he's like, oh yeah, totally. I'm like, oh. And I was like, he's watching the Sharks game. Fucking love it.
Yeah, dude. Fuck. Bay Area represent, dude.
He's just
Bay I remember Area I saw him built different.
I know. Yep. I saw him at a show kind of recently, and I was like sober, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm too nervous. I don't want to do this. Like still, really? Even after like, yeah, I didn't want to. He was with his girl. I don't know what he has. I'm sorry if I'm calling anything out, but he was like with someone. He's like he's like and I don't want to be like, hey, let me interrupt your time with your friend. We did a podcast. It's pretty sick, right? What do you think? I don't want to do it.
He definitely remembers it. He spent 4.5 hours with us, dude.
We had to like be like, all right, dude, we're done. like it's like Steve and Giorgio, like Steve, I was like, fuck, dude, I gotta work like in 4 hours. Dude,
well, we're gonna get him back on sometime.
Yeah.
I've been talking to him. We're gonna work it out.
Bass players are the goddamn sickest, by the way, right?
Oh,
bass players are the best.
Blush, dude.
We got Nick Jealous on soon too. It's fucking gonna add to the fucking
let's
hierarchy.
Get him on here.
That's literally how I am in my later years. I'm paying more attention to the bass players than I am the guitar players.
There's a lot more being done these days. Bass players are really finding their own confidence now, and it's not just, a backup in a band. Like, it comes with the parlance of our times, I think. Like, we are way more musical now, and we yearn for more intricate music as consumers than we have in the past. Like, when bass is a relatively new infantile instrument in like the electric bass world, like what we do, before then it was the double bass, like standing up bass like that, and that did a completely, those go listen to like some of those old jazz licks. You can't not hear the bass. The bass is, some of those things, there was no even drummers back in those days. The bass did the percussion all in one.
Right.
No, totally. And different styles of music and stuff. I mean, the bass was like, that was growing up, the music classes and stuff back in the day was like, bass holds the shit together, and then you go into metal, it's like bass follows the shit.
Yeah, you had a lot of people just kind of, oh, well, we need a bass player, and then what happens? You get a guitar player that's just like, okay, I'll play the thick strings, no problem. I see you, dog. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But that just, like I said, in the parlance of our times, now we're finding our own voice. As a standalone instrument that we can do a little bit more. There's room for us to do what we want to do in the music.
Totally.
There's like a folks want to hear that. Like, I know this is a weird example, but Polyphia, I don't know how to say it. Those dudes are so killer because everybody in that band, and this is why everybody loves this band, every dude in that band is like doing their job. Everybody is holding their own torch, like the bass is doing what the bass should do. The drums are super busy, but they're doing what they're doing. And it's like, you can't have too much busyness. It's going to be cacophonous. It's going to be like too much for you to digest and like turn folks off.
They've attacked things like such in a different realm though, of like,
they're smooth. They're like silky, everybody there knows their job.
No, I literally went to see them at the Regency, and the whole show, or every show, the whole tour was sold out. And there was literally one thing they've done that's tripping me the fuck out after that show, because I was kind of like last second, because they opened for us one time, like a long time ago. Like they were like this band, you know what I mean? And like seeing them now, I was like, there was like fucking out of the 2,000 people that were there was like 3 metalheads there. But I saw like they were metal, like it was all like these like pop people. They're like they found this like voice with a guitar, like a Backstreet Boy with their vocals, but they found it with the guitar that people are humming.
Dude, they're up there playing like hip hop and pop, like, and metal all at the same time. Their song structure is immaculate.
No, I was like sitting there going like, whoa, what the fuck's going on? Okay, this band, okay, so you just leaped over Animals as Leaders now. It's like a bigger popular band, like out of nowhere, and I was like, your whole tour sold out. And Animals, I love you, like fucking amazing. But like this band is like bringing this this kind of pop element to guitar, this kind of like groovy, like this, and the bands that open for them were all of their, like every one of those bands that opened for them were influenced only by Polyphia. So it was like a style that they created that was like, I was like, what the fuck?
Okay, I will say we needed something. We needed Polyphia as like consumers and musicians. They're doing something right now. They're breathing new life that was becoming a stagnant and dying art form, I think, to be honest. Like
my dad has texted me, he's like, do you know Polyphia? Because my dad's all into,
what
like,
I'm saying, they're taking
like jazz stuff, and
people
he's
are
like
playing guitar again. Everybody wanted to be a DJ 10, 15 years ago when they heard fucking Skrillex, which a lot of my friends went down that path, and that's fine. My friends too. I enjoy that music as well, but the point I'm trying to make is they were putting down their instruments to pursue that approach. What Polyphia is doing is like making that sort of music with their instruments, and I think that is so incredible right now. We really needed that, like as
I
community,
definitely agree, but like the talent level of those guys is like way ahead of any normal humans. So I don't know how that.
I haven't dug on this enough, but when I hear that name, I hear the main guy. He talks shit about metal. Said I'm not playing metal anymore because it doesn't make any money. And
no, he says metal sucks. He says metal sucks because it doesn't make any money.
No, but I'm saying is like
that's way worse than your quote.
Who thinks that they're gonna make money playing metal when they start playing metal?
No, he said
people in the 90s.
Yeah, I know.
It was at one point a fruitful venture, but
not really.
It's been oversaturated, and I think
I guess I'm more.
Anthony, you're also talking about it. So he might have said something that was like, "Oh, blah blah, metal, fuck it," and like you're like, "What the fuck's up with that?" And like now you're talking like, "What's that band's name?"
In reality, I don't care enough to actually take this stance, but this is just me in the moment saying, "Hey, I've had a few fucking drinks. This guy talked shit about metal, dude. Let's fucking go."
No, that's what he wanted you to do, though.
But
but in reality, it doesn't care. I don't care about it enough. But this guy made a statement like metal doesn't make any money. And it's like I've never been in.
That's not a lie. So Maury said that was not a lie. So I mean, you're not making money off like fucking metal unless you're. I mean, even Cannibal at the top of their shit. Like I've talked to them about money, like one-on-one and stuff, and I'm like, it's not. It's still like at the top of the helm of like death metal. It's not like
that's what I'm saying. Though.
You're not like kid's also, he's not even in his 30s yet. So, and he's, achieved wild amount of success by paving his own way.
But he knows how to get the social media going, though. He knows how to get, like you say something like that, and like boom, everyone's on you, and it's
aside from everything else, you don't get the chops that he got without like paying, some attention to bands that we all love. Also, I guarantee you that dude could, whip out a Dimebag riff with the quickness.
But you can never play it like Dimebag, though.
Who?
No one can.
Who? Yeah, who can play anything like anybody else? Nobody.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Polyphia guys, they're. I mean, before whatever you're hearing right now, which is their new shit in the last 5 years, like I was watching them back in the day, and they were just like kind of like shredding. Kind of like Steve Vai, Yngwie Malmsteen shredding stuff. And I was like, and they were children. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I was I mean, and
they obviously learned that somewhere, You don't get chops like that. Like the dude didn't grow up just solely listening to like Kanye West and was like, okay, I want to do this on guitar.
No, I know.
Like yeah, I know.
I know.
He's definitely grew up and was like, what, dude? Pantera? Like, what? Metallica? Like, tell me that boy couldn't shred some, Master of Puppets. Guarantee you.
That dude was playing shit live that I was like listening on an album. Like, you can't do that live, and just did it live. And I was like, well, what the
And what's
fuck?
even crazier is that he does it on like a hybrid nylon electric acoustic, and it's like, there's no room for mess ups there. Like the guys,
there's no distortion. There's no
he's an absolute prodigy.
No, I know. That's basically what it is. It's like, and he's all like tattooed and shit, and like I was like, I have these opinions too, and on top, you're like, God damn it. Well, I can't.
Max makes a good point right here, saying about how I think it's really killer that Steve Vai stepped up and kind of put a lot of the elitism to bed.
Dude, put me in my place, dude. So he wasn't actually talking shit. I just had the clickbait.
He got you. And then here we are talking about it, bro.
You.
And now you're gonna now after this, you're I'm gonna give that Polyphia band a listen.
Well, no, I was already down.
Like, what is that riff?
That goat song was the one that made me pay attention.
Same, and that's one of the best
learned that riff
licks ever. I think
I've learned that riff like it took me like hours to like kind of get it like shitty like on guitar, and I was like,
I even tried to learn this. The worst guitar player.
To write this from scratch, like. I mean, also I know they write stuff a lot on keyboard or on a piano and keyboard and stuff and MIDI, and then they take
it's fascinating how he
it's insane. No, he's a genius. He's a goddamn genius.
I love watching his production. Actually,
I
respect him in a totally different way.
It's like I respect him in like a fuck you. You're not supposed to be allowed to be alive way.
Oh shit!
Like you are so good. Like it's not okay. Like I don't like this.
Like I don't like this, bro. That far, bro.
Well, it's like aliens coming down, going like, "Hey, check this out, dude. I'm gonna do this fucking thing you'll never do and be able to ever do." And
everybody thought that about Steve Vai though 20 years ago, and then now he's like, "Okay, like here's a literal passing of the torch." Like, all right, dude.
But we are fucked because there's kids that are gonna start with Polyphia playing guitar. And then them in 20 years is going to be the most.
Dude, we're going to be the guys in old folks home. Like, check out this
being selfish. Let me be selfish for a second.
Like, check this out. I could play Smoke on the Water.
How cool are the old people of our generation when we get old, dude? We're gonna. It all used to be Motown and fucking old like 40s, 50s shit. Now it doesn't matter about my eyes with I'm talking right now.
Where we're going,
I'm talking about my eyes.
See. Yeah, we don't need eyes. We're evolving.
There's gonna be guys driving around bumping fucking 3-6 Mafia. There's gonna be people bumping Spawn of Possession while they drive around as they're 80.
I mean, like Animals as Leaders and Polyphia both have that style where, like, you know, I toured with Tosin when he was filling in for Born of Osiris, and I was like, he's like, check out my new band, fucking Animals as Leaders. I was like, cool. I was like, this is fucking crazy shit. And he was like, Joel, do you want a guitar lesson? I'd be like, no, dude. I was like,
now it's like, oh, you want a guitar lesson? $1,000 bucks.
$9 million. Yeah. He was like, dude, Joel, come jam with me. I was like, no, I'm drinking, man. I don't want to. He's all, and he was like coming to the backstage. I remember a couple times he's all, check out this new thing. It's like this like slap. This like Victor Wooten slap with like a tap in it, like, and like I'd hear it percussively with no amp, and I was like, "What is going on right now? I'm not gonna jam with you. You're insane. Like you're, you know." But
he's on some different stuff.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what Polyphia did for like that style. It's like they put their pickup in the middle. They do the middle kind of the humbuckers in the middle sound, like kind of like bluesy tone, and they made their own sound, and that's fucking awesome. And I'm drunk.
They've made it like they've. You know, they have nothing to hide behind. They're like, how can we like be absolutely bare, raw, naked, and then they make zero mistakes. It's like,
except like they literally are the first guitar instrumental band only where they're done and it's women screaming.
No shit, right?
Songs like girls are like, ah! It was like
that just further proves my point where he's doing something that needed to happen to music. He's bringing the passion back to instrumentalists, you know, and instrumental. He's letting people see like, hey guys, don't forget this is where it all started. Like it can sound like anything you want it to be, but it started here. Like the fundamentals are still very present there, which is dope.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I mean, that's killer.
Yeah, no, it's insane. Like I'm being a boomer, like a grumpy old man. I'm like, well, it's not gonna last. No, but and also those guys are so talented that's not like those aren't guitar players. Or a bass player. That fucking bass player shreds, and the drummer shreds. Like those aren't like normal people. I don't know. To me,
there's a lot of them out there.
I don't like for that kind of a band to get to, because I saw them and I was like, you guys are so fucking talented. Like this is like insane. I was like blown away that I went to that show. I was like, saw that show because I played with them before and they were shredding before, but this like with all the fucking theatrics and all the stuff and standing up on the boxes and shredding and lights and the new fucking nylon string thing you're talking about, like so much of that. And I was like, man, you guys are going to be like in sync, but with guitars. Like,
I'm down with that, dude.
No, me too.
Like,
No,
I think
I'm
that's
super
so
down with
sick.
that. No, I know. I felt like a weirdo with the metal shirt on. I was like, I thought it was like, I saw these guys first. Fuck you guys. It's like a Black Sabbath.
Now
fan.
you're,
like,
you're the only black shirt. And everybody's like, look at that guy. It's like
wearing
a Hawaiian shirt to a Cannibal Corpse show in '98. You're like, what?
I know. No, I mean, we've, Paul Masvidal is like our bro now, and like he used to have to open for Cannibal in like 90, what was it, 98, 97 for like a jazz kind of like weird, or 94, 95.
Yeah,
right?
way earlier.
How crazy was Cynic, dude? Cynic was just like,
there's like weird jazz band, everyone's just like boo, because it's like we want death metal, and like, but they're like the most talented band, like, you know what I mean?
Traced in Air is like a deserted island record for me.
It's my top 3 of all time.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah.
I fully fell in love with Focus first, and Traced in Air is one of those albums that I was like,
whatever. It's like your brother, dude.
No, dude, check me out. Like, obviously there's differences, but Traced in Air was one of those albums where I was like, here's a comeback that I'm like, of course this makes sense. They've had this much time since then. Of course they're gonna expand and change as players, and there's callbacks to Focus on the album.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's thus them just saying, hey, this is where we're at currently. And look, now being at this age with that album as much as we had, I'm like, dude, that is a fucking probably my favorite comeback of any album.
Yeah.
So different than Focus. Traced in Air was just like a true shedding of skin, like a metamorphosis, you know.
And people need
that's
to
one of the reasons why I love Paul so much, because he, like, you know, he did his work with Death, which everybody loves.
Right.
And then he branched out on his own and did his work on Focus, which everybody loved. And then he went into the lab and fucking metamorphosized into Traced in Air, and literally people were just like,
this is the thing, is like not only people pay attention to Portal, which was right after Focus.
Yeah, that's another fucked up one.
And Aeon Spoke, which was
Aeon Spoke's killer.
Totally
deep cut.
A totally different version of Paul and Sean, and you get this hodgepodge that's been mixed in the cauldron, you know, and you get the Traced in Air after all of that experience, you know, they experience
you like see the
Focus and Portal and Aeon Spoke, and they just put it all together, and that's what came out in Traced in Air. And I think the percentages of all those groups fell into Traced in Air very nice, dude.
Yeah, the old school fans were like, my buddies that were like older than me were like, I don't know about this Traced in Air stuff. It's all about folk. And I was like kind of slowly. Yeah. It's just like, it's a time and place. It's like I talked about Napalm Death earlier. It's like they were there for when it came out, so they were like, no, this is my thing. It's like when you saw Green Day for the first time playing their garage show, and then they're like selling millions of albums. Well, fuck them. I saw them.
Then you hear Boulevard of Broken Dreams, and you're like, excuse me, what are you doing?
I was so nerded and geeked out on Focus though when that bootleg of Evolutionary Sleeper came out.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
incredible.
It was
one of my favorite
bootleg of Alive that they did overseas or whatever, and
maybe.
I listened to that so many times, in
Yeah.
anticipation for something else that would drop, you know. And I think it was Adam's Murmur or something was like the next.
I just learned that song on guitar a couple days ago. I was like, because I have a Strandberg, because fucking Paul like was like, get a Strandberg, or like I don't know, it's back there somewhere.
Yeah.
But like Jesus Christ, that's a weird guitar, and I love it. I love it to death, man. It's so fucking. It weighs like a half pound. It's like it's like a ported like body, and it's got this fucking those Endure necks. Which actually, have you ever fucked with an Endure neck?
Which one is that? The one that's like ergonomic?
It's ergonomic, so I don't want to go back because I'm drunk. But like, there's like a neck that like there's like a neck that goes like, so it's like, well, it follows your thumb. So
yeah,
it's like in a diagonal.
My buddy Per has his guitar. His Strandbergs are like
which Per?
Nelson. Per Nelson.
Oh,
Scar Symmetry.
Jesus Christ! All right.
Nice,
Anyways, let's change the subject.
Why you
like
don't like
the gnarliest fucking.
Oh, his guitar was born on like Mars.
No, that guy's insane, dude. That's the guitar I want. I want his guitar. So anyway,
with the True Temperament frets and stuff.
Oh my god!
I got to hold the. I hung out with him at NAMM many years ago, and I got to hold right before he announced he was going to play with Meshuggah.
Yeah,
he busted out. He had it in like a soft case, and I met him right in the beginning, right when you walk into NAMM, the convention center, and I didn't get into it, but him and I have toured together, and I worked with his band for an awesome tour. He actually helped write some music in the Absence for a while. He was a member of the Absence for a short period of time.
Damn.
Per and I, we've been friends for over a decade now, and he had his Singularity, the signature Singularity, the blue one. That was like ended up being like the Meshuggah guitar, and he busted it out like in front of everybody. And he's just like, "Yeah." I was like, "I don't know what to do with this thing, bro. Like, what? Like, it looks awesome, dude. Thank you." And he's like, "Yeah, like hold it." And I was like,
"Those True Temperament frets.
I don't know what to do with my hands."
I know.
Guitar play real good.
Love that callback always, dude.
Has anyone ever done that with the bass though? The True Temperament with the bass? That's not a thing, right?
I don't see the necessity of it. I mean, I have one of my B1000s I was talking about before. I have a fan fret version of that, and I understand the science behind it. I appreciate it. It actually is pretty dope. The reason I don't play it as often is because my string endorsement does not provide a or what do you call that?
Like a lower, like a gauge string to kind of make that work.
They don't create a multi-scale set of strings yet.
So it's like shit's all fucked up when, like, as far as the tension's all messed up when you.
It just doesn't work. So that's like a trophy bass for me. It's kind of just chills, but I do love it. I understand the science. It makes perfect sense to me. I appreciate it. But for me, it's just something I don't need, something it's a little too many bells and whistles for me. I'm like, I've been playing so long, and the way that I have it, like I've got my stuff pretty down packed.
So when you do like drop A though, like when you have a drop A, you have a certain gauge for a drop A versus
if I were to go into A, I would prefer probably 130 what do you call that? Well, 130 gauge.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, but usually I play all the Soulfly stuff is B standard, and I have 125s on the B, but taking that next step down to A,
how much nicer is fucking standard tunings for fucking string gauge? I mean, I have the Spectre I'm recording Odious right now on.
Lovely.
Nice. Yeah, but
I love Spectres.
But I have like we're tuned to drop C sharp. And then I have that A hanging over there, or the B string hanging. I was like, what do you do with that? Like, do you tune it to a fourth lower, or do you what do you do? Like for me, it's like I might not use it, or just turn it standard, or I'm gonna throw it in there somehow. I'm recording kind of around now, but I'm like, I don't know. I want to throw some like lower notes in there. I feel like A is like the cusp. That's like. Once you get to A on bass, that's like anything lower is like it's now mud.
It's interesting you say that because I've been playing a lot of Fear Factory on my stream a lot since we've been jamming with Dino and Soulfly. Oh yeah, you do a little Fear Factory jam, a couple songs of his.
Yeah,
and when he goes down into like G and I think F sharp, I'll play that on my standard E basses.
Yeah.
Because I'll just play it because it's a higher register, but it's like, dude, what do you want me to do? Like
I try to do like a dog whistle, like so low it's like only dogs freak out over it. It's like
for tension's sake, and like my longest scale length would be like a 30. I think I have a 30. I think think I have a 34, but I never use it. And I think most of my basses are like 32. You really can't. I mean, I'm not trying to play 150 gauge string. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like fucking carve out your fucking your string fucking holes to make it fit. Yeah. I know.
So just play it in a higher register and keep it nice and tight.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were to be playing in Fear Factory, obviously I would have to like consider, playing on a 6th string or getting some sort of extended scale length.
You want the string for like 24 hours. It's not a big deal. You don't need to get tired. But no, what would you do in my position? So drop C sharp band. So drop C sharp. So obviously it's a half step down, drop D, and then you have a low B above it though. What would you tune that to? That's a nerd question for you.
Just rip it off, dude. Because if you're going I would imagine, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're playing what you're playing, the music that you're playing, how often do you even go up there? This seems like a.
Well, I mean, it's like for a heavy part or something. Like I want it as like a secret weapon to accent like a heavier part.
Like a bomb note, like something like.
Totally.
What would you turn that to?
A is like the lowest note for a bass for me.
I would want to bar that note and do like if you were dropped, maybe because
like it'd be A flat. You do A flat. So like a bar. Okay. So you have like an octave.
Torch does that. You ever heard of that band Torch from South Florida?
I've heard the name.
Yeah, they're crazy, dude. So they have they'll play in standard. What do they do? Standard tuning. And or maybe it's, I'm not sure, but they tune down, and I think they'll do drop, and then the lowest one is an octave A from E A D G B E.
Yeah.
So it's just like they'll be like gong 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 gong, and it's just like, excuse me.
That's what like Tosin does with the when he got the A string. He was like, it's an E, the low string's an E, but then there's another E. It's like, so he knows where he's at, like frame of reference, like can have that. Not a lot of bands do that now. It's like it's like a weapon. Yeah, it's like a weaponized low string that you can use.
Like playing, that's kind of like Les Claypool plays a lot of stuff in like a 5 string, and he'll most of the song will be rooted in E, and then every once in a while, instead of going up, he'll go, and it's just whoa. Children of Bodom does that oftentimes as well. They'll be like, riffing on E and playing in a lot of standard patterns. Yeah. And then when the bass times to step off, what's a good example of a great song that they do? Every Time I Die, I Follow the Reaper.
Okay. Yeah.
Like down, 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 and then he goes down, down.
Yeah.
It's just like, excuse me, who invited this guy? There's a hippopotamus in the room now. What? There's a sonic hippopotamus that just trudged into this room, please. What is that?
That's fucking hilarious. That's the best way to describe it too. It's like a fucking, who's the elephant in the room that wasn't invited?
Yeah, who's that? Who that boy?
The hippo will fuck you up, dude.
Yeah, dude. The hippo.
The hippo, dude. That's a radio station in Santa Cruz.
Is it? That's what it's called?
104.3 The Hippo, dude. It used to be KMBY, but anyways. We're going 3.5 hours in.
Anyway,
I know that. No, dude, we're doing 3.5 hours in. I know that fucking Mike's been touring, streaming since like 3 this morning. So, and he's got a wife, dude. Like, we gotta let him go. We gotta let him fly.
I haven't kissed my wife in a while. I'd like
to let's let him kiss his wife. And this guy's got a wife right here with 4 kids or 7 kids. You have 7?
Yeah, I get to go kiss them tomorrow night, dude.
Oh, nice. I forgot. Oh, sorry about that. He just sold his house. So now he's in working.
I'm separated from my family right now. It's kind of rough Monday through Friday, but it's all good. It's not going to be this. It's just a temporary situation.
Oh, we got raided
before the dawn.
Oh, we just got raid Mega Mike for regular
Mega. No, they're already up where I'm planning to get my place, and they're already in the school system up there. They're doing school up there.
Luckily, do you have any kids, Mike?
Not yet, my brother.
I mean, Anthony's Italian. He's like 78.
Hey,
I'm 3 years older than you, but I got 3 kids.
Yeah, that's okay.
I love it, dude. I really do. Being a dad's something that made me have purpose.
I've heard that, and I definitely am very much curious. Not curious. I'm excited to have kids. I would love to. I can't wait to, be a pop and teach the youngins.
That's what it is.
Is your wife your age? Is she around your age? Your wife?
Yeah, she's 2 years older than I am.
Okay.
So
you got like a few more years, and then just gotta start popping it out.
We're just trying to get the foundation built. It's not easy, dude. It's not easy.
No, I know.
I'm not working a 9 to 5. I gotta try.
Anthony lived around his family too.
If you're gonna tour 8 months out of the year, bro, don't have kids.
That's pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much.
If we're gonna get real on this, like 8 months. You're saying 8 to 10 months out of the year, don't have kids, bro.
It's pretty much the same reason why I still drive the same truck. Why am I, why am I going to make a, $500 a month payment to a car to sit in my driveway just to be like, yeah, dude, I got this sick ass Lexus. It cost me $1,000 and I haven't driven it in 3 months.
Yeah.
And so this is what I'm saying. I got 3 kids and I miss them Monday through Friday. I still see them on every weekend. Going and touring 8 months out of the year, you're never gonna fucking see your kids, bro.
I wouldn't want to do that to them.
Exactly.
When the time comes for me to be a parent, I'm going to focus on that just as heavily as I focused on my career.
But Mike has come so far. Like, stop trying to tear him down with kids and stuff. Like, Jesus
Christ, no,
dude.
it ain't even like that.
You brought up the kids, you fucker. You brought them up.
I almost hit the server. I apologize.
All good, man.
No, but that's for real. Do your thing as long as you can do it, bro.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing.
Sure.
As I will quote Mr. Papa Hetfield here, heavy metal is a young man's game. I'm trying to get it in while I can, and I'll figure out what's going on.
But feeling young can also be a mental thing to a certain point, dude. And you can ride that out as long as, shout out to the death metal dad, Mike Hamilton. Look at that motherfucker, dude.
Slamilton, baby.
Straight up, dude. He has
0 kids, right?
Beating the skins. He has 0 kids. Yeah, but I'm just saying, for your body. And now you brought it back to the kids. You don't even have kids.
Sorry, I'm trying to rate someone. I know. I'm trying to multitask. I'm trying to do a polyrhythm, like conversation and rating. Who should I rate? Mike, you're a guest of honor. Who should I rate?
Who should we raid? Let me give it a little look.
This is the pro right here, dude. You should watch Mike's fucking shit. He's a shredder, dude.
Mike.
I know Matt Heafy is on, but he's not gonna care about us.
Wait, Mega Mike is on.
Is he on?
Yeah.
He's right here. Channel. I can't scroll down. Oh, maybe because I have this weird filter on.
Mega Mike's playing some crazy looking Pokemon
before we raid, because
why the fuck do I not have Mega Mike? Sorry, I love Mega Mike.
Vince told me last week that we have the awkward ending because we don't say goodbye or anything.
You have the awkward
before the raid. You're a part of this, so why are you saying you?
Well, because I have to do it. So we're rating Mega Mike.
Okay, don't rate it until we say goodbye to the people that we send over.
I say goodbye, and then you guys keep talking.
No. The people that are with us that we're about to send to Mega Mike.
No, I know. From one mic to another. Mike, thanks for showing up, man. This fucking. I'm so glad I fucking found your channel.
Hey, likewise, man.
And I fucking literally watch it all the time. Whenever it pops up on my phone, I'm like sitting. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fucking watch this channel for a while. It's fucking so much fun. Dope. You're just jamming all these old songs and new songs and things. I have a lot of fun just sitting here, just going like at my computer. I'm like stoked. Like I have like gnarly ADD, ADHD, whatever. I'm like watching. He's all, oh fuck. I'm like into your shit.
And we got a little bit of a crossover. We got a little bit of a crossover in our fan base too.
Yeah, we got a lot of mutual friends and
a couple of people that have been like, oh shit. How do you say your last name again? How did you say it?
Leon.
Mike Leon, dude. Yeah. Oh, Mike Leon's coming on, dude.
Yeah, sick.
No, I was psyched. I was like, fuck yeah. Because I just threw something in your chat and you're like, dude, fucking have me on. What's going on? I was like,
yeah, I saw, dude.
Saw,
dude. Get at me.
I saw, dude.
Carne asada, dude.
Carne asada.
Dude, that was I loved that little blip in the
This is why I rated. I'm just kidding.
I saw, dude.
I'm drunk. I'm drunk.
Dude.
Dude, thanks for coming on though. It's fucking sick, man. And I'm so stoked to see you. Like, I mean, you're probably fucking doing great on, almost better than probably touring. Doing you're fucking killing it on Twitch, man.
Thank you, man.
Really cool to see. And I know
it's been a long and arduous journey, but I'm super proud of everything we've built here, and I love my community, and I love the Twitch community in general, like music. It's just really been awesome to like. I've made a ton of friends, you know, and on a medium that, you know, kind of just fell into my lap in a difficult time. When the whole world shut down, I still managed to meet new people, and I think you know, I'm super thankful for that, and I'm happy to be, you know, still doing it. We're about 2.5 years in. July of next year will mark 3 years of streaming on Twitch, which is insane to think about. July 10th.
Okay, I'm 27th, so
damn, crazy. Yeah, we did start right at the same time.
So I mean, my birthday is July 27th, so I was trying to like mix a party in with your.
My wife's July 8th, dude. So it's
like
all
to party on
there.
Twitch, dude. That's a fact. Thing Twitch loves is a good birthday.
We talked about this a little bit on the Nick Shangelis thing of like the future of like what's, you know, like money and metal and stuff, and Ozfest, is that to this weekend? They're trying that. They're trying the Ozfest thing.
Who knows? I think it's super ambitious, and
yeah.
I hope it works.
I mean, so is System of a Down. So is System of a Down.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean,
hey,
I mean, you know,
ambition pays off. You know, it might work. It might not.
That festival looks pretty rad.
I think they should have promoted it for a little bit longer. It's crazy. They're like, next week we're doing it. Check it out. Motorhead's going to be there. Everybody's like, excuse me.
It's like, he's still alive? I thought he died.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. That's going to be, they're trying to like a metaverse fucking Ozfest.
Awesome. You know, I think it's think it's pretty killer. Yeah,
I'd like to see how avatars. I'm out immediately. If they're like avatars, like, I'll be doing Crazy Train. I'm gonna be like, go fuck yourself. Like, I want like a virtual reality show. Is what I want.
Buckets of digital water on the crowd. I want to see you go crazy. Everybody's in their room with a
pass out the digital acid, guys.
Yeah. Past the virtual doobies.
You're like trying to grab it, like shit. It's not.
You're in your room.
Shit. Well, thanks again, Mike. I appreciate it. I know it's like
I had a great time.
There. It's like
likewise, dude. Thanks for having me. We got pretty deep combos there.
I'm down
to do it again sometimes. I didn't even scratch the surface, dude.
Anytime you want to come on,
you're always welcome back, dude.
Yeah, can't wait to see you guys in person. We got a pretty huge Soulfly tour in the works for 2023. So,
dude, me and Joel as a date combo for a Soulfly show sounds like a nostalgia overload, dude. So we need to do it.
I got a very important question though. Where are we going to eat? I'll give you. You got some time to think about it and figure it out. But we're going to eat.
If we're in the Bay, we'll figure out some dope shit for sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to eat dope shit only.
Yeah. Fuck all that bullshit.
I'm just kidding.
Take me to a Whataburger, I'll be highly upset.
No,
I had fucking Michael lined up now, and now I fucked it up because I'm drunk.
Nah, eating good food is
Mike Drummer. Mike Drummer, what?
Huh? Mega Mike Drummer.
Mega Jesus, I'm fucking I need to get off this podcast.
Why?
I'm too drunk, dude.
Nice.
That's fine.
Mega Mike. I typed in mega drunk just now. I'm not even kidding.
Well, that's
son. Let's get this.
That's the universe telling you what
I worked 14-hour days, 2 days in a row, and then came on a podcast. So I kind of raged a little too hard to
mega drunk.
All right.
Mega drunk.
All right. We're rating right now. But let's wrap this up.
Hey, love all you guys that have been with us. Go hang out with Mega Mike.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, that's him. You guys, dude, Mega Mike rules.
I love Mega Mike.
His bands, I think they opened for us. It was a Soulfly tour. They opened for us in Spokane. No, not Spokane. I forget where he's from.
Jesus
he's a killer
Christ.
drummer, killer dude.
Oh, no, he's
We've
insane.
rated him a few times on our stream.
No,
so.
I've watched actually like his stream was probably how I like got into your stream because I was like watching him like all the
Quite
time.
Possibly.
Like that one he did like for like fucking a week long or something.
Yeah,
I was like,
was crazy.
He was like sleeping and shit, and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" I was like, trying
so
to, like,
dope.
No,
maybe it was
insane.
Mike. I feel like it was Scott though. Scott Carstairs, maybe.
Oh, Scott got us into it. Scott got us into the Scott and what's his Max actually anomalous too because he just did our podcast and he's all I'm gonna go on Scott's podcast or stream and I watched that and I was like that's sick and they were trying to jam live but there's a little delay but they're kind of making it work a little bit though. And
it's
like
sick, dude. Scott is the sickest. We could talk about Scott for all day.
Oh God, I know. Do you want to go all day? I'm just kidding. All right, thanks for showing up.
All right, dude. Yeah, let's wrap it, dude.
Thank you guys so much for having me on, and thanks everybody in the chat for hanging out.
Bro.
We'll
You're always welcome back, dude. Let's really do
anytime you want.
All right.
We say that a lot, but I'd like you definitely to come back on again, dude.
Yeah, we got plenty to chat about.
That's what's up, dude. That's what's up, dude.
Did I do the raid right?
You're a gas, man. Thank you guys.
I fucking fuck up the raids all the time, dude.
I had a great time. We missed.
No, he said
Casey's gone for the night.
Casey's got the flu and had to.
I gotta go to bed too. I love you guys.
Yeah, likewise, man. Thank you guys so much.
We had a great time. All right, come back next week. We'll be here. All right,
rock it out. Bye.